chitty-chatting with people when we're on live, that's all. No, you're right. Okay, so folks, we're back on. Apologies to everyone on site and on the webcast. We had some sort of electrical problem there, but we're back on the webcast, and I can let you know that Charlotte Wharton fell around 4-ball, I think it was, on the 12-metre line. Just have to confirm that, but that's what I'm thinking happened. So sorry, apologies to Charlotte's family and friends and everybody that wanted to watch us ski. We just had some sort of power outage or something just happened up here that I'll never understand because I'm just a commentator, but we missed out. I will confirm that score for you. Oh, it's 3.5 at 13, so it wasn't actually quite as good as I thought it was. So that's interesting. I thought she started at 14, but she must have started at 16. So we will get everything back on track here. So just let's run down the order. We've got our next competitor, of course, from the Ukraine, who is Stanislava Pristova. But just running down the order, the leaderboard at the moment. Now we've got a 2 at 11 from Maria Kuglevan, of course, from Peru 2 days ago. So that is our lead at the moment. Tony Atkinson from New Zealand, 3 at 12. She's in second at the moment. And Alea Jung, who's just skied earlier on, 2 at 12. That is our top 3 at the moment. Here we go to the Ukraine now. Stanislava Pristova from the Ukraine. Looks like 16 metre to start. It is 14 this time. Well, I keep guessing wrong. So there's a 14.25 metre line from this young lady out of the Ukraine. Now she has got a personal best. We were just talking about that. Pippa, her personal best is on the 11 metre.
She did a 1-ball at the ENA Under-21 Championships.
Okay. So she's got a PB of at least 1 on the 11.25 metre line. So she's a chance here of getting up with our leader, who of course is Maria Kuglevan of Peru. Actually, course record, this is interesting, course record here at Putrajaya is 2 at 11, which was set by April Coble 10 years ago and tied again on Tuesday by Maria Kuglevan. So that little fact, I don't know if the Kuglevan family know that, but Maria had tied the course record here at Putrajaya with the 2 at 11. So that course record's definitely going to go, I'm sure, over the course of this morning's slalom skiing.
Yeah, I think so. Still a lot more to come.
Okay, here we go. We've got Ukrainian athlete, of course, Stanislava Prosvetova. Stanislava Prosvetova. Tough, some of these names for my New Zealand tongue to get around, but I think I've nailed it there. I hope so anyway. Round 2 she goes. This is 13 metre line. Oh, gee, she's in trouble out of 4. She doesn't get to 5. That was disappointing there because, trouble out of 3. She doesn't get to 4. Disappointing because she seemed to get a reasonable start, Pippa. I don't know if we're going to get a replay on this one, but she seemed to get a reasonable start, but just it all kind of fell apart there on 3 ball. So I don't know how many New Zealand fans are tuning in at the moment back home, but Tony Atkinson still in 2nd spot in the slalom, so you'll notice I'm a little biased towards New Zealand in commentary. I'll try to not do that too often.
Try and tone it down.
Try and tone it down a little. So excited later on. We've got Jamie Metcalf slaloming, and I think 4th to last off the dock, which means she's ranked 4th at this event. It's a long time since a Kiwi's been ranked that high at a event. I'm thinking back to, you'd have to go back to, I don't even know, because Aaron Larkin picked up a silver medal in 2011 in Dubna in men's slalom, but I don't think he probably went into the tournament ranked 4th. He might have, but I don't think it was quite that high. And Steve Cochran with a few medals, he possibly was ranked that high. And of course Kai Lead at one stage towards the end of his career was ranked 3rd in jump. So, but it's been a while for New Zealand, so we look forward to that later on. Anyway, right, back on the water now to Belarusia. It's Hannah Stratslova. Oh, and we've lost signal here. I'm not sure whether we're back again. I presume I'm still live as we watch beautiful morning here for slalom. And that's 6 boys for our young Belarusian athlete, Hannah Stratsova.
Yep, just 24 years old. Her best is 3.5 boys at 11.25.
Yeah, well, that's probably our first skier to have such a high personal best. I would think 3.5 on the 11.25. So she gives herself a shot here at getting onto the 11.
She's a pretty decent skier with trick points of 8,200 and jumping 55 meters.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, the Belarusians, the Ukrainians are all solid 3-event skiers. It's going to be interesting to see what the cut ends up being. We'll obviously, over the course of the next 3 hours, we're going to find out who makes the women's slalom final. So this is the first event that we will get our finalists in for the 2019 Worlds. I think 2 at 11 has final cut written all over it at the moment. You'd like to think with the calibre of the skiing it could end up being 3 or 4, and it may well be 3 or 4 at 11 the cut, but you never quite know. 2 at 11 is a pretty standard sort of a score, particularly with ladies skiing, well, men's skiing as well. That sort of 2, it seems to be, especially left foot forward skiers, they get a reasonable 1, but it's quite hard sometimes to turn 2 ball. Particularly if conditions aren't perfect. So we'll have to wait and see. I think the first job for these girls will be to get more than 2 at 11 will be the aim at this stage. Long way to go though. Here's Hannah Stratslova from Belarusia. She's looking pretty strong at the moment. Just lost picture again. I hope you've got it on webcast. Okay, well, she's run the pass, I can let you know that. Because we're running our commentary, we're in a magnificent tower miles above the skiing, but we're actually commentating off a TV screen. So when the TV screen goes off, hopefully you can see it at home, but we actually don't know what's happening. So that it makes us sound a little bit like idiots. I mean, we're pretty good at that, Philippa,
Yeah,
let's be frank. But
yeah.
well, that's a good pass there on the 13-metre line for
Amazing
Hannah.
shots though from the video. It's really good when it's up.
When it's working, it's sensational. And it has worked. First 2 days, it's worked really well. But I'm sure we'll iron out the bugs. You have it's a beautiful place, Malaysia, but you have quite high humidity here, and I think it's played havoc with our cameras and our electrical equipment. Pretty decent sort of a thunderstorm last night. It was after skiing was finished here at the tournament, but I know the USA team were scheduled to train at Godzilla between 5 and 7 last night and had to be called off because of a storm.
Mexico too, I think.
And Mexico as well, so...
Yeah, that lightning, man, you don't want to get hit.
Okay, here we go. This is 12-metre line now, and this is obviously must run for this young Belarusian athlete. Yeah, not a bad start on 1. Looks to have fairly good form. Good 2 here. She's going okay at the moment. Why do I say that? Because I give them the kiss of death, but she's hanging in there. She's going to run this 12. She's going to be close for 6. I think she'll get there, and she does. Oh, sensational. 12-metre line is completed.
That was amazing. That was a really good recovery.
Really good score, and of course that's only the second time we've seen a lady run the 12-metre line at these 2019 World Champs. And remember, the lead is 2. That was 12 though, wasn't it? Okay, well, just to add to a little bit of this morning's drama, we're going to have a gate review here, so there's obviously a question over, so sorry, I mean, no one wants to hear that. Mum and Dad are probably watching the webcast or on site, but hopefully she's fine. We're just going to review those gates, those entry gates. So obviously that means that it was close enough. Our tower judges on Tower 1 felt that they needed to review it, so obviously she's hit the buoy or something like that, but hopefully she's okay. She's okay, thumbs up, so sounds like she's gone through those entrance gates, which is great news for this. Oh, breaking news. Hold the phone. We'll confirm that as soon as we can. Getting mixed messages at the moment as to whether she's got that gate. I'm going to say she has. We'll be able to tell here whether she pulls out for the gates or not.
Doesn't look like it.
Doesn't look like it, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, this is tragedy.
Oh, such a good run, such a good recovery.
Oh, that's really sad, and I'm sorry for the false hope there, but I was told that she had been given the gates, but she hasn't, so that's huge, because, you know, she was possibly only 2 buoys away, maybe 3 buoys away from making a final here, but she hasn't gone through the entry gates on the 12-metre line. So Hannah Streltsova from Belarus has finished with, well, it'll be 0, won't it, on the 12-metre line. So that's not the sort of score that she would be happy for. And Maria Kugler hangs on to the lead still with 2 on the 11.25. Okay, well, up next we've got, I think the first time we've seen an American skier, USA skier at these World Championships. It's Erica Lang. And, of course, Erica Lang, one of the favourites in the women's trick. She's a, you know, former world record holder, current world record holder. I lose track sometimes of it between her and Anna Gay, but I think at the moment Anna Gay has that world trick record. So, but that could change over the course of the next couple of days. There's nothing between these girls and women's tricks. So, but she's slaloming, of course. She'll be slaloming for the US team, of course, doing her thing for the team. And I don't think she's jumping, so she's not skiing for overall, but she'll be out there trying to get as many points as she can. And she has had some form. I remember Junior Worlds in 2012. She actually got a medal in slalom. And I think, if memory's right, she got about 1 at 11 at those Junior Worlds. So she's obviously a little bit vertically challenged. More of a, she sort of has the height of a trick skier rather than a slalom skier. But let's see how she goes. 16-metre line to start. 22 off if you're watching back home in America. Yeah, no problems at all. Good stuff, Erica Lang. Of course, professional water skier, but also professional wakeboarder as well, Philippa.
Yes, I was just going to say that. She's very talented, isn't she?
Former highly ranked gymnast, actually. Had a bit of a choice between gymnastics and water skiing, and I'm glad she chose water skiing. So, great to see. So this, of course, if you just joined us, Series 3 of Ladies Slalom. We, so far, none of the ladies have managed to ski up to our best score from 2 days ago, which is still Maria Kuglerman of Peru, who has 2 on the 11. Which is starting to look like a bit of a score to beat to make it into the final. Okay, here we go, Erica Lang. This is going to be the yellow shortening, the 14.25 metre line. As I said, better known for trick skiing and wakeboarding, of course, but it's great to see her out here slaloming, helping out Team USA, of course. Team USA rocked a little bit by the loss of Freddy Krueger, and I think they've brought in Brittany Greenwood to cover Freddie, she's a great skier in her own right, but that will be a bit of a loss, I guess, take away arguably one of the greatest, well, he is one of the greatest jump skiers of all time, Freddy Krueger, and unfortunately for Freddie, it's his third Worlds in a row he's missed from injury, so
oh man, that
it's just
sucks.
bad luck really, because although he's getting towards the end of his career, he's still super fit and super strong and skiing in a bunch of tournaments still, but just done for bad luck really. The last, well, this World's included, there's 3 world champs in a row, he hasn't been able to ski because of injury.
That's the same with Jarrett Llewellyn, right? He had a lot of injuries and he was out for a while.
Yeah, he certainly was. I was hoping actually Jarrett Llewellyn would trick at these Worlds, but I understand he isn't. I think he didn't get, because he didn't make Canadian team, so he had to ski as an independent and didn't have the ranking scores at the right time that were high enough, so unfortunately he's not getting to trick at these Worlds, which is one of those things. But anyway, Erica Lang has just run the 14.25. She's shortening onto the 13 metre line now. Originally from Arizona, of course, but she's resides, I think, mainly now in Florida. Here we go, 13 metre. Yep, she's getting it done. Reaches out as far as she can. Is trying to get a little bit of extra height, I guess, as she goes around the boys. Now that's a great pass, 13 metre line from Erica Lang.
And just really showing all her experience, right? Just fresh off the plane, straight into it, no problem.
Yeah, well, a little tough for the US athletes because US Nationals only finished on Sunday, actually, well, Saturday their time, but Sunday Malaysian time. So a little bit of a clash of dates. So they didn't get, if they wanted to ski US Nationals, which a lot of them did, they didn't quite get the time of training here as they would have liked. It's just one of those things.
And why do you think that is, a scheduling issue? What happened there?
I've got no idea. I guess US Nationals are probably always that time. But then, World Champs is more important than US Nationals. So I don't know. I probably don't really want to comment. It's just one of those things, I guess.
Oh, there she is. Personal best of 3 at 11.25. Yeah,
which is some sort of physical miracle, you'd have to say, with all due respect to Erica, because for her to ski 3 at 11 is probably the equivalent of a 6-foot athlete skiing, a couple at 10.25.
I think so. She's only 5'1", so that's pretty incredible.
So
here she comes.
Here she comes now, and this, of course, is 12 metre line now. Oh, not a good start on 1. She's going to need a super 2 to get back on this. And she's not a bad 2, actually. Round 3. She's fighting hard. This is great skiing. Look at her go. Oh, she's going to run it. This is sensational. Round 5. She's not quite going to get to 6, I don't think. But that is great skiing. Put your hands together. Erica Lang, 5 on the 12 metre line.
Oh, my God. Amazing good fight. What a good skier.
Really good stuff. And, probably not going to make the final with that. But it's still a great score. There's some good scrapping skiing there from Erica. Really good skiing from Erica Lang. It's not all that far off her personal best, just 4 boys. I think that's 2 ball, and that was a ripper of a 2 ball from where she came, how she came out of 1. She basically stood up and stopped on 1. Look at her, late out of 3, but she's fighting hard, super strong. This is 4, and she's huge hit there, and she takes it across to 5. Round 5, and this is when you kind of know that she's not going to get to 6. She's trying, but she can't quite get there.
Just amazing
That's a solid
balance.
result, though, 5 on the 12 metre line. Doing her job for the US. Yeah, just a comment that she's, we've mentioned that she's a professional wakeboarder. Because, for US team, you might think, oh, why are we talking about her slaloming for the US? But the US team, of course, the way it works with team scores, they probably don't include some of their best men's slalomers because they can't stack it full of slalom specialists. So they rely on their trickers and jumpers to go out and slalom as well and try and get a team score. Anyway, Anna Sespafova she's not from the USA, folks. It says that on the graphic, but she's from the Czech Republic. And this is the 14.25, and that is a great pass. She's a little bit taller than Erica and using that advantage out there on the slalom ski.
You said her name really well there. That was really good.
I'm not sure I did, but we'll go with that.
Oh, that was perfect.
Oh, excellent. Thanks.
She does not have a profile.
Anna Sespafova. Just working on, has she not got a profile on Waterski? So that's something that I actually don't want to point finger, but a lot of the Eastern Europeans are not filling out their profile. They're probably not wanting to, very modest people, not wanting to show off maybe, but it's not showing off. We need it. If we don't have a profile on World Waterskiers, we can't tell the truth about you. We're just going to have to make stuff up. So please go online and put your profile on World Waterskiers.
I think she looks like a 12-meter line skier.
Oh, yeah, she. Well, it's a seeded draw, so
That's
the
true,
previous skier can ski at 3 at 11, then she probably can ski at 3 or more better at 11 as well. So she's one of these skiers that, in practice, I'm sure, on a perfect man-made lake at home or in the States, she probably could easily get the 2 at 11 that is required at the moment to take the lead. But, you know, the hard work is here. This is the world champs. This is the pressure, you know. This is where she's got to do it now. And she's on the 13-meter line now from the northern end.
Oh, man.
Falls off around 3, and that was a bit of a strange one there. She didn't really need to fall off there, and she knows that. She didn't want to fall off, but she has. So that's a little disappointing. It's going to be 2.5, I think, on the 13-meter for Anna Sespafova. And the Czech Republic will be a little disappointed, I think, here. What do you think, Philippa? What happened here?
I don't know. I thought her gates was pretty good. Good one ball. She's standing really well. Comes into 2, still looking good. Still looks pretty early. Coming to 3. And her ski just skipped out. I think she just needed a little bit more knee bend just to absorb a little bit of
I mean, the water was a little movie there, and but, you know, it's 13-meter for her is not a super hard pass. She just, I think you're right, a little bit softer in the knees, ski a little wider maybe. But the last thing she wants to hear is coaching advice for us right now, because she's probably a little bit down in the dumps after missing 13-meter. This is interesting. We're running a dummy pass here because there's obviously been a bit of a delay between skiers, and I'm not sure why, but every time we get a delay, a pause between skiers, we have to run the boat up without a skier so that we keep the same conditions. Could be anything at all.
There's a beautiful man-made lake.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So this is a is it a dam, is it, or a
Well,
lake?
no, it's half-half. It's half natural and half sculpted.
Okay.
But it's pretty deep in the middle. Some parts 10 to 20 meters. Probably in the middle 30 meters. And we have a weir over the bridge over there, so that's nice. City of Putrajaya has been amazing so far in their support, so we really thank them.
Oh, it's an amazing city. I urge anyone who's never been down to Malaysia and Putrajaya to come and check it out. Kuala Lumpur, most friendliest people I've ever come across.
Oh, thanks, man.
Absolutely lovely. No, you are. You're super friendly. This is, in terms of organisation and people, just sheer numbers of people on the ground helping to run this event. I think this is the greatest Worlds I've ever been to anyway, in terms of the huge army of volunteers that are helping out with this event.
Oh, that really means a lot. Yeah,
No,
we've been
that's
working really hard.
True. It's amazing.
All the officials and volunteers out there, right? It's
Well, I mean, we've been getting here just after 7 in the morning, and there's already 20, 30, 40 volunteers running around doing stuff then, and it's just so good to see. So Malaysia's really got behind these world champs. It's a massive thing to put on the World Championships, and huge congratulations to the Malaysian Waterski Federation and the city of Putrajaya. Of course, we had the president of Putrajaya, who I later found out is kind of like what we call a mayor. So the mayor of Putrajaya was here. I thought I was getting to meet the president at one stage of Malaysia. I was got really confused, but anyway.
We have a prime minister.
You have a prime minister. Of course you do, because you're kind of like New Zealand. You're part of the Commonwealth.
Yeah, we have the oldest
British
prime
colony.
minister. Yes.
See, the oldest prime minister in
the world, I think. Wow. 93.
Oh, wow, that is old.
Yeah.
I wonder how old, who's the guy in Zimbabwe, Thomas Mugabe? He's a president. Well, he's a dictator, let's face it. Be careful what we say, but it's pretty obvious.
I think he's 92.
Is he 92? So you guys do have the oldest?
Yeah.
Wow, 93. Must be all the good food that you have here. He's longevity of life. So what have we got here? We should have Valentina Gonzalez here from Chile. We'd have technical problems, I think. Something wrong with it's not us, the webcast's working fine. Something wrong with the boat camera or the judges. Okay, they've fixed the technical problem, but the judges are here. They're painstakingly making sure that they have the conditions the same for everyone. So every time the boat pauses for more than it normally would, we're running the boat up and down, and it is a world champ, so we've got to give the same conditions for everyone.
And I got to give a shout out to those boat drivers, amazing boat drivers. 2 from Italy, 1 from Australia, 1 from America.
Yeah, world's best. We've got Glenn Martin, of course. He's only young. He's a young Aussie guy. I guess he's probably in his early 30s, maybe even younger actually. But he's been driving Moomba for 5 or 6 years now, and one of the best drivers in the world. In all 3 events, of course, he's here, and we've also got Les Dodd, who's probably the greatest jump driver the world's ever seen, from Florida. He really is. He's driven more world records and more world titles in jump than anyone else. And of course, as you said, we've got is it Mario Pigozzi, exactly, who's world-renowned driver.
And Davide Gondola.
From Italy, yeah. Yep. So world-class drivers here, only the best. We've got the best towboats, of course, this new Nautique, which has been around for 18 months or so now. It's an absolute amazing what they do now, the micro tuners and the I know when I get deep down 10.25 now, there's no problem with spraying my face or anything like that. Pippa, you'd notice that as well, wouldn't you, with the new Nautiques?
Makes a big difference to
Absolutely.
my slalom, yeah.
We'll have, over the course of the weekend, we'll have some of the big guns from Nautique, Greg Malone, the big cheese from Nautique, and people like that. They'll come up and tell us a little bit about how things are going. They can't make these boats fast enough, you know, Philippa, these Nautiques. They're pushing out something, I think it's 30 boats a day in their factory in Orlando. They can't make them fast enough for the demand, and then of course they've got that factory now in Tennessee where they're making the new 200, which is not the new Ski Nautique, it's the new 200, which is kind of a zipped up, pimped out version of the old 200, which was a great boat anyway. They're making them in Tennessee now because they haven't got the capacity at the factory in Orlando to keep up with demand. So it's great, really is great to see.
Wow, that's amazing. And I love the new paintwork. They put those gold specks in it.
Ah, you gotta love the bit of bling.
Yeah.
Bit of bling.
I think we're gonna go straight into Valley now.
Yeah, well, because this blue boat that we're looking here at towing the Slalom, that's off to Australia for.
Yeah, we are gonna miss it.
Yeah, you'll miss it. And the red boat, which was towing jump yesterday, that's off to New Zealand. So. But you do have a new Ski Nautique here, I think, don't you? You've got...
yeah, black with gold specks.
Yeah, black with gold specks. I've seen that one kicking around as well. So certainly great to see Malaysia, big supporters of Nautique. But anyway, back on the water now. Is this a rewrite or... No, it's the wrong name on the thing. This is Valentina Gonzalez. Sorry, I keep getting... We have names up there on the webcast. We're just struggling to keep up here. But this is out of Chile, Valentina Gonzalez. And I think that was 14, but we need to confirm that. Of course, magnificent 3-event skier, Valentina. She's got a medal, I think, Junior Worlds 2000 and 2016, I think, in Chile. She was a bronze medalist in overall, so she's a solid 3-event skier. Personal best in slalom of 2:11, which is, I reckon that's about what she needs today. Here's a prediction, Philippa, and we'll see if it comes true. I think there will be a runoff at some stage here. More often than not, you get a runoff in women's slalom to make a final at any major event, but particularly the World Championships. So we'll just have to wait and see what the mark is. Is it 2:11, or is it going to be 3 or 4:11, or is it even going to be, right up there running 11? We'll have to wait and see. But at the moment, 2:11 still looks like a great score from Maria Kuglevan.
And when will
Peru.
that runoff happen? After all the series?
Straight away.
Straight away?
As soon as this last ski is done, yeah. So it'll happen before we go into tricks.
Wow, so people
That'll
have to
add a bit of
stand by.
excitement.
Yep.
We'll have to go into overtime, of course. So we'll have to go to time and a half. Here we go. This is 13-meter line. Valentina Gonzalez from Chile, 20 years of age. Very strong 3-event skier. Super strong in the jump event. Tough. One of those real tough girls, woman that's kicking around water skiing at the moment. And that's she's going to get the 6 boys. Probably not the easiest 13 metres she's ever had, but she gets the 6 boys. And that's all it takes out there, isn't it? That's, if conditions aren't absolutely perfect, you don't have to look your best. You've got to get those 6 boys, obviously.
Yep. Just a little bit of grit, a little bit of strength, knuckle down. That was amazing. It's really strong skier, like you said. Just 20 years old.
Yeah, because the Gonzalez family have got a few skiers. We saw Josefa skiing earlier on in the seeds. She's, I think, younger sister of Valentina, about 18 years of age.
Malaysia's Alia Young still sitting in 4th place here.
Yeah.
2:12, so that's pretty good.
That's excellent. And of course, Kiwi Tony Atkinson still sitting in 3rd with 3:12. So the commentary team's happy. Long way to go, though. We've still got about 25 slalomers left to go in this women's elimination round. Here we go. This is 12-meter line. This is the one we must see run. She's getting a little bit late already. She's in trouble early on here. Ooh, does it hurt her back there? I don't know. She's 2 at 12 as a score, but she's grabbing her lower back. She might have just given a bit of a wrench there on 2 ball. We'll see if we can get the replay.
She's going to have to go down to that physio center.
Yeah, well, there's a great, you're right. Yeah. Great physio center there. Hopefully she hasn't damaged anything for her favoured jump event later on today.
Yeah, I really hope it's nothing serious. That'll be a damn shame.
I'm sure it'll be fine. So here we go, replay here, 12-meter line. Remember, personal best is 2 at 11, so she's obviously has run this pass before. Not a great start on 1. She comes into 2, boom, you see that, took that hit, you can see immediately reaches for her lower back, and hopefully that's not going to affect her jumping. Mind you, she would be one of the toughest ladies in world water skiing, I've got to say. If I was picking my top 5 of toughest ladies,
yeah,
she would be. I think she'd just about make my list. So if anyone a bit of a rub, I'm sure the Chilean team doctor will give her a bit of a rub, and I'm sure she'll be fine for jump later on. Yeah, see her moving around, a little bit of a lower back strain there. Well, we've almost finished Series 3, and so far we haven't had anyone exceed the best score from Series 4, which is interesting. And conditions, to be fair, are pretty much the same, I think, but I can't see any difference between conditions here than what we had 2 days ago. Maybe it just shows just how good that score from Maria Kuglervan was, that 2 at 11. Okay, we're going to Norway now. Not a country that we think too much of with water skiing, more probably snow skiing in Scandinavia, but we've got Thea Caroline Granhus from Norway. Not a skier I know an awful lot about. You know, I can think of some pretty famous Swedish skiers. I can think of some pretty famous Finnish skiers, but not so many from Norway.
Her profile was updated 50 years ago.
Okay, that's interesting. Right. I don't believe that. Profile updated 50 years ago. She's certainly not that old. Well, in fact, the internet wasn't around 50 years ago, so. .1425 metre line to start now. Well, she's from Norway, and you would have picked it, wouldn't you? She's tall.
Blondish.
Scandinavian, yeah. .1425 metre line. Oh, she's a little bit shaky here, but she's getting it done. Oh, good tight turn out of 4. No worries at all. .1425 metre line, 6 boys for Thea. Yeah, so program for today, of course, women's slalom elimination round, the top seeds, of course, this morning. Then we've got the top 2 series of men's tricks, which obviously very excited about that, which will run following the slalom. And then, of course, this afternoon, this evening, we have got the top 2 seeds of women's jumps. So plenty of action, probably an hour and a half more skiing than we had yesterday. So we had we finished about 2:45 yesterday. I think today we'll probably finish a bit after 4 o'clock Malaysian time. So a reasonably big day. This, of course, is a replay of the first pass for our Norwegian athlete who successfully ran the 14.25. Well, there's a reasonably good look at the way that windbreak works. Actually, Pippa, we've lost the picture now, but a little bit of ripple on the water. But you get to the windbreak and it's glass calm. And this is 13 metre line for this young lady from Norway, and she appears to be getting through this pass reasonably comfortably. Rears up a little bit out of 5, but she's going to be okay for 6. And that's a complete pass there on the 13 metre line for Norway and Thea Caroline Granus.
So she was under 21 in under 21 in 2015. So I'm guessing she must be in the early 20s. Not much else on her on the internet, so hopefully she'll update her profile after today.
Yeah, because Norway, when you think about skiing, you think about snow skiing.
Oh, yeah.
Snow ski jumping, you know, I don't know much about snow skiing, but I'm thinking that the Norwegians are the best snow ski jumpers in the world. And those guys are jumping up over 120, 130 metres. Absolutely sensational. We've never had a snow ski jumper in New Zealand, so and I can guarantee there's never been one from Malaysia. But
yeah.
That's more what I think of when it comes to skiing in Norway. And here we go. This is 12 metre line now, so this is must run. She wants to have a chance of making the final. She's hanging in there, not bad out of 2. She's working hard. She's starting to get late. She needs a big 4 ball. Not a bad 4. She's across the 5. She's got 5. Oh, and down she goes. It is carnage out there at the moment. That, you know, there's been some, 4.5 at 12 is not a bad score, but it's just not quite enough. It's one of those scores that, is solid, but geez, if she could have just got around that buoy and out around 6, it would have made all the difference. So let's just watch the replay here. 12-meter line. Remember, current lead is 2 at 11, and I'm sure that the cut for the final will be into the 11-meter line. So this was a pass that had to be run, and she's scrapping and pulling and prodding away down the pass here. Struggling across the 5, and in the drink she goes.
There we see Rafa from Peru.
Yeah, so Peruvian athlete Rafael de Osma, he'll be pretty happy. Still a Peruvian, still with the #1 score at the moment in the women's slalom. Maria Kuglevan, of course, with her 2 at 11, still the top score.
Yeah, and amazing. I think they're just showing all their experience because they were here for maybe 2 to 3 weeks practicing beforehand, just getting used to the conditions and putting in the time.
And they've got that Jimmy Seamers factor as well too. They're coached by Jimmy Seamers.
That's true.
Jimmy's
pretty amazing.
Peaking well, fizzing. Actually, Rafa jumped pretty well yesterday too, didn't he? 55 metres, I think it was. Off a narrow little 3/4, I thought. Like, he's interesting way of doing it, but he's got a great style, Rafael de Osma, and it was a good jump.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him jump again, actually. I hope he gets into the finals. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it's gonna be absolutely huge. I think there was one jump yesterday that absolutely stood out, which was that
Tanguy?
Louis Freiburg, Louis
Freiburg,
Freiburg, 63.7, I think it was from memory. Depending on what conditions the top couple of seeds get tomorrow afternoon, it's the sort of thing that could get him into the final, which is unusual for someone from seed 3 to make it into the final, but you just never know. It was an absolute ripper of a jump, the young Frenchman.
Yeah, and there's supposed to be a storm on Friday, so I'm not sure what's going to happen to the higher seeds.
Well, if it's too bad, I guess they'll delay it and do it on Saturday. There's plenty of time to, you know what I mean? If the storm's too bad, you're not going to jump in it. Pippa, there's still normally a little bit of slack in the program, particularly on the last couple of days. But you're right, it was really good conditions last night. It was just a perfect headwind, and got the advantage was to those seed 3 guys, and the Frenchman Louis Freiburg, he certainly took advantage of it. Okay, so we've changing series now, so we've probably changed driver, which means we're going to do a phantom pass, and we've got the red boat here for the seed 2 slalom. So we'll look down this Series 2 slalom, which is really starting to get serious now, folks. We've got some of the top women slalomers in the world. First up from Germany will be Jeana Kruger. Then we go to Peru again with Maria de Osma. Alejandra, sorry, de Osma. And then, of course, Australian legend Sadie Ferguson.
Who jumped extremely well.
Yeah, and she's a form skier, obviously. She's a sensational slalom skier. Then we go back to Germany, of course, Gianna Bonneman's sister, Chiara Bonneman. So the 2 Bonnemans up in the first 4 skiers. Canadian Neely Ross, she's a rock star of world water skiing, so that's up not too far away. Italian Alice Bagnoli, German Gina Kruger, Canada's Paige Rini. From Russia, we've got Alyssa Shevkanova from Russia. Jeez, I don't know a lot about that girl, but bit of a tongue twister there. We'll be working on that, I'm sure. Belarus competitor Celine Dietrich. Oh, Belgium. And then, of course, Emma Haberman from Australia, formerly Emma Shears, of course. Now, I'll talk a lot about Emma later on, of course, 2-time world slalom champion. So she's back. And these are the conditions that will play into her hands, I think, Emma. So excited to see that a little bit later on. And so that's Series 2 slalom coming up. A couple of Germans, a couple of Australians, a couple of Canadians, real international field. So look forward to that. So I think it won't be too long. The boat's heading back to the dock.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see Emma Shears. I haven't seen her for years. It's amazing that she's come back.
It's great. And she's actually done a lot of work on training a lot of these athletes for this Worlds herself. You know, great coach. She's got a ski school with husband Rick there on the Sunshine Coast, Waterski. So it's great to see her back. Actually, this is, I said we'd switch to the red boat for slalom, but we haven't. We're just using the red boat to do the phantom passes, because you see the blue boat on the dock there ready to take a first gear. So that's next level, running a different boat. I guess that's time efficiency is paramount. Great shots from the dock there. We see German team coach giving some advice there down on the dock. And we should have, here we go, Jeana Bonneman from Germany. Leaves the dock, well, one pass at a time, and she'll be thinking about each pass as it comes, but that mark of 2 at 11 is sticking out like a sore thumb at the moment. There's a mark to get ahead of. I'm awaiting confirmation, but to me that looks like 14.25 to start, 28 off. We haven't heard from the boat. Strong overall skier, of course, Jeana, 25 years of age. And that's a good opening pass there. We think at 14. Slalom personal best is 4 at 11. One of the best female overall skiers in the world, of course. So not only is she out there slaloming trying to make the finals, she's trying to get a good score for her overall as well.
Just looking at the rerun here. She looks pretty good. Easy opening pass, right? She tricks 9,300 points, so I'm quite excited to see her for the tricks.
Absolutely, and she's a 52-metre jumper. And, you know, like I reckon a good chance of getting on the podium in overall as well. She'll be there or thereabouts in the overall. So that's why, obviously, she wants to make the slalom final. And at the moment, she definitely needs to get a couple at 11, I would say, to do that, possibly even a bit more. But she needs a solid score as well for her overall. So if she doesn't make the final, this is the only set she has, of course, to get an overall score in slalom. Okay, here we go from the northern end, behind that Nautic towboat. Jeana Bonneman out of Germany, 25-year-old. Into 2 ball, a little deep out of 2, but she's okay. Round 3, heads for 4, getting it done across the 5. She's got 5. She'll get to 6, and yep, solid pass. Wasn't was a couple of little bumps, I think, around 3 ball, but she negotiated it pretty well, and that's not a bad pass in the end, the 13-meter line.
I think the really telling pass is going to be 12 meters, right? If they can
Yeah, I
clear
believe
12
so. I
meters.
still actually haven't, I'm flying solo here on this, but I haven't actually had that confirmed from the tower, but I was pretty sure that was 13 metre, 32 off. I have made mistakes before, as everybody knows, listening to my commentary. But I believe this will be 12-metre line from the start dock in, which is a must-run pass for Jeana. Now, it won't be easy, and I say that because we've had something like 25 slalomers go, and we've only had one skier so far in the ladies slalom successfully run this next pass. So yeah, we can confirm this is 12-metre line coming up, 35 off. And this is the pass, as I said, only the one athlete so far, Maria Kuglevan, who's completed this 12-metre pass. So this is must run, I believe, if she wants to make the final. Jeana Bonneman. Through the entrant gate she goes. Round 1, and she's off, folks, and that's devastation. Just got on the back of the ski, half on the 12-metre line. And that's disappointing because she won't make the final, and also possibly the score down a little bit for her overall chances as well, Pippa.
Yeah, that's a shame. She looked so good on the earlier pass. I just don't know what happened. She just got on the back of her ski and just kind of flipped out.
Yeah, that happens. So if we look at our, let's watch a replay.
Yep.
as she comes through the gates around 1. Yeah, wow. Just did a big wheel stand, didn't she?
Yeah. Really good fight, though. Look at that. Oh, my goodness.
For some reason, the old arms came in, didn't they? You watch, she comes around here. It's like watching a car crash, unfortunately. Pulls the arms right in, and she's no show there. She doesn't want to let go, but
Just maybe too fast into one ball with all that slack.
yeah, I guess. But well, we look at the jump ramp, which is kind of good timing because she now her sights will be set on the trick and the jump event later on. Because jumping later on today, Jeana. So disappointing stuff for the German. I think it's safe to say she would have hoped for a bit more out there. So well, let's just see how that unfolds over the next few days with her overall chances as well. Okay, so we go to back to Peru, our leaders from Peru. And we've got now Alejandro Diosma from Peru.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if her score can match her Peruvian teammate since they've been training here for a couple of weeks now.
Absolutely.
Do you want Ali?
Yeah, I've attended the 2014 under-17 World Champs in Lima, Peru, where the Osmonds have a house on that magnificent ski lake there. Well, there's 2 lakes actually, and they ran a magnificent World Championships there in 2014. So it's a great site. Got all year round climate for water skiing, although not quite as warm. I think they just had the Pan Am Games there a couple of weeks ago and actually looked a little bit chilly. It's winter there at the moment.
Yeah, it was freezing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They were really suffering.
Well, freezing is a loose term really, because I think it was still 16, 17 degrees. It was cold compared to being in Malaysia in the winter, but plenty of places get a lot colder than Lima, I think. But
Yeah.
you're right, it did look. We saw the teams there bundled up skiing with long wetsuits and that sort of thing. Certainly a world away from here, which is fairly warm. Here we go. This is Alejandro Diosma. 14 metre line to start. Looking really good. That's a beautiful pass. Now, Philippa, you're telling me the Peruvians have been here for a couple of weeks training, and I reckon I can see it. I can. The way they're skiing, they've adapted to the conditions. The time that they've had here has paid off.
Yeah, and looking at her scores, I think slaloms is her favorite event. 3 at 10.75, her personal
Yeah, okay.
best.
So her PB's 3 at 10.75. So she's another step up from the athletes we've had so far. A lot of the skiers we've had in the last 5-6 skiers, their best have been around that 4 at 11. So Alejandra's best is 3 at 10.75. So she is a better skier in terms of personal best. So I guess that does shine through with the way she's handling things out there. But also the fact that they've had a couple of weeks here, the Peruvians on site, I think is paying dividends.
So her personal best for tricks is 6,800 and her jump is 45 meters. So do you think she's a strong overall contender?
She'll be in the mix. I mean, there's better trick skiers and jump skiers in the world of women's skiing than that. But, you know, with a slalom score, a PB of 3 at 10.75, she's definitely in the overall mix.
Yeah.
Look, it's ridiculous how long she's waiting for these boys here. I guess it's slow-mo, of course, but...
yeah, the replay is awesome.
Compared to a lot of the skiers we've watched, they've sort of been scrambling their way down the path. Okay, this is 13 metre now. Green shortening, 32 off. Yep, good start on 1. Round 2. This is pretty to watch, you know. She looks to be dialed in out there on the Putrajaya slalom course, and that's a great 13 metre pass. Alejandra Diosma from Peru.
Yeah, she is. She is beautiful to watch. Oh, we're watching a slow-mo replay on her first pass. Oh, thought that was a boy decision. She just stands so tall on her ski.
Yeah, and
I
that,
love it.
a lot of coaches want that now. They want you to be standing up nice and tall over the ski for the gate, and she's certainly got that mastered. Well, she's getting down to the business end though, because she's got the 12-metre line now, and that's so far that's been the pass that has tripped up so many of our lady slalom skiers. She will be buoyed by the fact though that her fellow Peruvian skier, Maria Kuglevan, of course, is the only skier so far in the ladies to have run the 12-metre line, so she'll be feeling confident. Here we go, big moment now, 12-metre line. Must run pass. She's quick turn on the gate there. Out of one boy she goes. Round two. Oh, she's late and in trouble, and that is a big upset. So that, look at her, she can't believe it, and I can't believe it either. The way she ran those first couple of passes, she got her gate timing wrong there, I think, though, Philippa. She looked like she pulled out a little late for the gate. She had to snap through, and it all just turned to custard her on her out there. So.
Yeah, and the gates are so important at these short lines, right? It just makes huge difference.
That is sad because she's got a PB of 3 at 10.75, 2 weeks training here. She looks so good on the first two passes. I thought I was about to put my house on her running 12-metre line, so just as well I didn't. If I had done that and lost my house, I would have had to have gone to one of those Indonesian waterski tournaments you were telling me about yesterday, where you win a house for winning. Not that I'd win, but send one of my kids maybe.
Yeah. I was thinking of changing my passport too, get one of those houses.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, we were talking about it yesterday. There's a waterski tournament in Indonesia. If you win, you get a house for winning.
I think you get cash money and a house.
Cash and a house?
Yeah.
Sounding better all the time.
Yeah, it's always good fun with the Indonesians. I hope I get invited there to judge again.
Wow. When you win the New Zealand Nationals, you get your name on a trophy, which is pretty cool, I got to say, and you get a medal that was made in China for $1.50 or something like that, you know. But it's all about the prestige in New Zealand, of course.
Yep, yep.
Well, we're getting some live shots of Alejandra out there swimming in, and it's devastating, really, because she looks so good on her first two passes. I thought for sure she was headed towards a score somewhere mid 11-metre line, and I'm no slalom expert. Anyone who knows me knows I know very little about slalom, but something on her gate timing I think was off, because it looked like she suddenly realised that she was late for the gates, and she just turned in a lot harder than maybe she wanted to.
I think so, yeah. That's a shame.
Yeah, she's obviously disappointed. Yep, heart goes out to her and the Peruvian team. We see some great crowd shots there. Photographers lined up.
Yeah, amazing coverage from the Malaysian media and the local supporters around here, spectators. So thanks for coming out and joining us.
I think because we've got carnivals starting today, I think, out the back here.
I saw the animals. Did you see the animals?
Oh, I didn't see the animals.
Yeah,
no.
There's a petting zoo by the start dock.
Oh, cool.
I think that's a llama, some rabbits. So go ahead, check it out. And there's bouncy castles.
I'm not that interested in those, but what about like a few monkeys and things like that? Something different? What about the Godzillas? Is there any of them? I suppose I just have to go for a swim to meet one of those.
You can try and catch one, I suppose.
What's that?
You can try and catch one.
No, I'm not that good, I don't think. Wow. So the carnival's a good idea, and that's part of the organisational skills of your dad, Hanifa, because it's going to bring the crowds in over the next few days, I hope, or on the weekend. Okay, folks, big moment now for Australia. It's the wonder kid of Australian water skiing now, Sadie Ferguson, just 16 years of age. Best, I think, is around half at 10.75, and that is quite significant because that was scored in the final of the Under-21 Worlds 6 weeks ago. So this girl is a big match player. This is 14.25 to start. Australians have this ability to produce tough, hard-nosed female water skiers. Over the years, you know, you think, well, a couple of them are going to come up slaloming a little bit later on. You think of the great Jacinta Carroll, you think of Emma, of course, coming up in this series to slalom, and they just mentally tough.
Hard as nails.
Hard as nails, yeah. Special people, the Australians, really. We have a kind of like New Zealand's big brother or cousin or whatever. We have that kind of love-hate relationship. We love Australians, but we don't like losing to them in sport. And normally in sport, we're the one shining light, of course, is the rugby. But we lost the rugby on Saturday night to Australia, so it's a little bit tough. But no, they are absolutely. We have annual competition, of course, New Zealand and Australia and juniors, and it's great for New Zealand. We get to come up against the Australians, but they're tough competitors. So Sadie's just 16 years of age, and she's got a huge future in sport. Of course, junior world jump champion. And I think, I'm trying to remember, she was on the podium in slalom in both the under 17 and under 21 worlds just recently. So yeah, she was bronze in under 21 worlds 6 weeks ago in slalom, but under 17 worlds last year, I've got a feeling she finished on the podium as well. So an absolute sensation. 3-event skier. Maybe her tricks just stopping her at the moment from being world class in overall, but that'll come, I'm sure. Here we go, 13-metre line now for Sadie Ferguson from Queensland. South Central Queensland, a little town called Roma, of course. Which, a lot of people around the world wouldn't have heard of, but tough, hard people come out of places like Roma, I can tell you that. And that's a reasonable pass here on the 13-metre line. She's run the pass possibly a little later than she expected, but it doesn't matter because she's got 6 boys.
Yeah, a little bit scrappy, but she got the job done, right? And just looking at her worst ski injury, she broke her femur.
Yeah, she had a horrible injury a couple of years ago. I think at the Australian Nationals, tricking, I think it was, which is unusual, but it does happen, yeah. But she's bounced back from it. She's super tough. She's got an older sister, Molly, who's also a great skier. Didn't quite make it to these worlds, but older sister Molly's a great skier as well. So haven't seen appearance here at these worlds, but I'm sure they're at home watching, coming up to lunchtime there in Australia, watching their daughter slalom. They might be on site. I just haven't bumped into them yet.
Okay, crunch time, 12-metre line.
Yeah, this is huge, and this has been huge for all of these ladies. This is the pass that so far we've only had one lady run. Let's see if Sadie Ferguson can nail the 12-metre line. Oh, geez, not a great start on 1. She needs a decent 2. She's got a pretty good 2. She's hanging in there. She is fighting. This is a true Aussie grit pass here now. It's coming down to the wire. She heads across the 5. She's got 5, and there we go. She'll get 6. Will she? Yes.
Oh, geez, that was amazing.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. You know, that has Australian water skiing written all over it, that pass.
Just the way she crossed the wakes and stuff, she was just so stacked.
Yeah, and I mean, it was not the greatest start on 1 or even 2, to be honest, but she just kept fighting and just kept collecting buoys and magnificent stuff. So
we might have a new leader.
So lead is 2, of course.
Yep.
Any more than 2, and I think she's got a great chance of making the final, just by the way things have gone over the last couple of days in ladies slalom. PB is on the 10.75, which she scored in Canada at under 21 Worlds 6 weeks ago. I tell you, she does need to make sure she gets 2 here, though, Philip. But I think, you know, for all these ladies, if they a score of 1 or 1.5 or half is going to probably will be one of those scores that misses out. So she's first job, I think, should make sure she gets 2. And then hopefully push on from that and get further down the course. Yeah.
Well, if she gets into 10, she might even clear 12. 11. You know?
Yeah, we'll see. I'm thinking that might be a little bit out of her reach, but she's an absolute rock star, of course. But first job is to make sure she gets 2 on this 11.25 metre line. Through the gate she goes. Round one. Oh, not a great one. Time will tell. I think she'll end up with a score of half. It could be one. It's a judge's call. It's a solid score. I just get the feeling not going to be quite enough to make the slalom final, but who knows?
Who knows, yeah.
Anything could happen.
Anything can happen. This is the world's outdoor sport after all. But I don't think she got a very good start, but we'll see the instant replay.
No. It was a good effort though to run 12. It's, put in perspective that we've had almost 30 girls slalom, and she's the second one, to run 12. So it's still a great result.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the Australian Waterski supporters and that watching at the moment. I'm sure you enjoyed watching Sadie run that 12 metre line, and you've got, of course, Emma coming up very soon, and Jacinta a little bit later. So there's plenty to see for the Australian Waterski supporters. Right, we're going to go from Australia, we're going to go back to Germany for Jeana Kruger. And she scored one, by the way, looking at so that good on it. One full buoy on the 11.25 metre for Sadie Ferguson.
Is she out of the way?
Okay, here we go. Jeana Kruger. 14.25 to start from Germany, of course. Very smooth slalom style. And no problems at all. 14.25. Okay, so that's obviously no problem at all there on the 14.25. We're just waiting at the northern end. 60-second drop time down the northern end, and 50 seconds at the start dock end for anyone who's wondering. Jeana Kruger will be heading back in very shortly on the 13 metre line. Personal best of 5 on the 11.25 metre line, so she's certainly capable of knocking off the two boys, which is fast becoming the mark to beat in this elimination round of women's slalom at the 2019 World Championships. Beautiful morning here in Putrajaya. Conditions very nice for slalom at the moment. Round 2 she goes. 13 metre line. Good pass here so far. It's to 5. She get across to 6. No worries. Nice pass, Philippa.
Yep, easy peasy.
So she'll shorten down to the 12 metre line now. We're just going to watch the replay, but she's going to come back from the start dock in on the 12 metre line very shortly. Right, talk us through this, Philippa.
Perfect pass.
Expert comments from a former Asian female slalom champion.
Yeah, double Asian champion.
Double,
actually.
2 times.
Yeah,
sorry for selling you short.
Back to back, yeah. Yeah, she just looks amazing. I mean, I love her style. She's super strong, always in control, right? She's been skiing for 20 years. She started skiing at age 4.
Wow.
That's a lot of experience. So hopefully we'll see her run the 12 metre pass.
Yeah. Oh, look, I mean, she's a little later than she'd normally be, I'm sure, but she's making sure of it. Just making sure she runs the pass. This is it, though. This is crunch time now. 12 metre line. 35 off. has to run this pass, I believe, to make the final. Round 1, slow start on 1. Needs a decent 2 to make it up. She's hanging in there, though, I've got to say. Round 3 she goes. She's getting a little later. Needs a big 4 ball. Round 4 she goes. She's in trouble. Needed a big 4 ball and just couldn't pull it off. So 3.5, I think, will be her score on the 12-metre line.
Yeah, it just looked a little bit sleepy on 1 and 3. She made up a little bit on 2, but just don't know what happened.
Yeah, I don't know either, but the 2 girls I've seen run 12 have both skied it pretty aggressively.
Yep.
And having said that, you don't want to try and do too much in the turn. If the water's a little movie, you've got to obviously stay on top of your ski. But
yeah, it's quite a delicate balance.
It is.
I mean, these guys are all pros, and I know they're going to want to try and clear the 12, so that must be disappointing for Kiara.
Yeah, so the log jam continues on the 12-metre line. I would hate to add up how many skiers we have scores on 12. Probably, I would say, getting up close to 20 scores now on the 12-metre line. Conditions are good out there at the moment, but I think that buoy, which is number 4 from the start dock end, seems to be the one that has just a little bit of movement on it, the moviest buoy out there. I'm not sure, I'm just seeing things, but it possibly, I've seen a couple of girls just struggle a little bit on that turn, whether it's 4 buoy from the start dock or 3 ball from the northern end.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So, I mean, small consolation, but she did beat her big sister, which both the Bonham girls will be probably a little disappointed with their slalom results, but she did manage to beat the big sister, which is, I guess, sibling rivalry. So still leading is Maria Kuglevan from 2 days ago, 2 on the 11.25, and in second spot, Aussie Sadie Ferguson, 1 at 11. Third spot, Erica Lang, USA, 5 at 12. Fourth spot from Norway, Thea Caroline Grandis with 4.5 at 12. And then fifth spot, the Kiwi, of course, Tony Atkinson with 3 at 12. So there we go. Top 5 at the moment. Cut is starting to me to look like either 2 or 3 at 11. That's what I'm picking at the moment to make the final. Wait and see. We're down to 12, and we've got about 19 skiers to go. We need 12 for the final, so in another 7 skiers time we will get an idea of what the cut's going to be.
Neely Ross from Canada up next.
Yeah, and you know, absolute sensation of a skier, current world junior slalom champion, of course, and world junior trick champion. 10,000 plus point tricker and slalom scores onto the 10.75. 14.25, representing Canada, of course, resides in Lake Hancock in Orlando, Florida. Obviously tall, you know, nice and tall, which is what slalom skiers want. It gives them a slight advantage. Neely's dad, of course, Drew Ross, one of the great slalom skiers of all time, professional slalom skier from Canada.
Man, she just looks so much bigger than all the other skiers on this TV. I don't know what it is.
Great young kid as well. When I say young kid, she's 18 now, so. But she's always polite and happy to talk to even the boring old people like myself.
Yep, that's always a good thing,
that sort of thing, which is great. Great young lady, very respectful, and as I said, took out the slalom title at the Junior Worlds in Cesena in Madrid last August, about a month ago. I had the pleasure of being there, of course. No air conditioning though, sat on the side of the lake.
And commentate?
And it is really warm in Madrid this time of year, I've got to say. It's warm here, it's very humid here in Malaysia, but in Madrid this time last year we were getting temperatures up around 46, 47 degrees.
Wow.
It is, I must say, it is a dry heat, so if you can find a bit of shade, it's bearable.
So this is really luxurious for you,
Oh
being
yeah,
in
exactly.
aircon?
I mean, air-conditioned
Get you some
tower here, getting
coffee.
to sit next to you all morning and watching the skiing on a big screen. So it's pretty comfortable here at the moment. And here's Neely Ross now, 13-metre line. Well, not a great start on 1. I'm sure she'll make it up, but she does pretty well on 2. Round 3. Heads to 4. Getting a little down course here on the 13. And she's getting it done though, isn't she? And good pass in the end. 13-metre line goes down.
It kind of seems to be her style, right? To ski a bit down course, even the first pass.
Yeah, I think they're just being... The top skiers are going to be a little conservative, I think, on their first couple of passes and just make sure that nothing silly happens. She's also right foot forward skier, so 2 and 4 are better sides, which means she doesn't get great turn on 1 here, but obviously 2 she's able to make up a bit of time. Got to say conditions pretty good at the moment though. There is the odd roller out there, but no wind, and we've had that. Well, probably all the slalom skiers so far have skied in really good conditions, which is great to see. Oh, there we go. I've just seen a shot of Sadie and her mum. So, apologise. Sadie Ferguson's parents obviously are here, or at least mum is. It's one thing about this tower up here, Philippa, we don't really get to see a lot of the poor people down in the heat, down on the lake shore, do we? Anyway, back on the water now, 12-metre line. This is crunch stuff. Big moment in this world's Canadian. Neely Ross, not a great start on 1, but pretty good 2. She's fighting hard. She's fighting down to the wire here. She's pretty late here for 4, but she's got 4. But she finds a way to fall off, and of course that's that buoy again, that 4 ball from the start dock. It's just got a little bit more movement on it, I think, than the rest of the course. She was, to be fair though, she was already in a little bit of trouble before she got to 4. If we watch the replay, she got a little down course. This is possibly a really big upset though, because she's one of the girls you would definitely think would make her way into the final. So 1, yeah, pretty average start on 1, you've got to say. Didn't really get the start she wanted. She tried to make it up on 2. Big 2 ball. Heads across to 3. She's fighting hard, but she's getting further and further down course. She's in huge trouble here, and she knows this is a good side. She knows if she's going to run this fast, she needs a huge turn. She has a crack at it, but unfortunately falls around 4 balls, so 3.5 at 12, and that's a bit of an upset because I think we would have all expected Neely Ross to make the slalom final, but just shows you've got to go out there and do it.
Yeah, that's a darn shame, Glenn. Canadian team's quite big, this one, isn't it?
Yeah, big Canadian team, a magnificent team, and they're one of the teams to beat, one of the real powerhouses of world water skiing. So always a great battle in the team's title, of course, between the Canadians and the Americans, and you throw in France as well, of course. Solid team.
Ukraine.
And some of the Eastern European teams now are on the improve. I mean, Belarus, of course, won the world's title probably going back 8-10 years ago. Ukraine is improving all the time.
Yeah, Canadian coach Steve Bush will be disappointed with that, I think. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Well, I mean, her best event is the trick event, and Neely, of course, will be one of the favourites for that trick event. But that is disappointing. Lovely young lady. And as I said, junior world champion in slalom. So, you'd think normally junior world champion in slalom, a reasonable chance of making the final. But it's pretty tough. We've seen it. It's that 12-metre pass. That's the crunch. If you can run 12-metre, come back. And I think more and more I'm starting to think that cut will probably be that 2 at 11. I think it's starting to look that way, and it's a case for these ladies of running 12 and coming back and making sure they get 2, I think, or more to make the final. Alice Bagnoli now from Italy. She's around 22, 23 years of age from memory. Good slalom skier with results into 10.75. Strong, she's a strong girl, so that probably will favour her in these conditions, I would have thought. Yep, nice opening pass, 14.25. Alice Bagnoli from Italy. Good to see the replay here. What do you think, Philippa? No problems here?
Yeah, easy opening pass. Like you said, you know, they're not going to try not to make any mistakes, so I think she's just taking her time, having a good time out there, getting ready for pass 2.
Yeah, so 21 years of age out of Milano in Italy, which I think is Milan in English, so we all know about Milan. And Milan has probably held more world championships than almost anywhere, actually, thinking about it. Yeah, a lot of world championships over the years in Milan, Italy. And, of course, she's currently resides in Lafayette, Louisiana, so part of that magnificent Lafayette collegiate Waterski team, I would think. I don't know that for sure, but I'm going to go with that. And slalom PB 1.5 on the 10.75. Okay, this is 13 metre. Round 1 she goes. Good start on 1. Round 3. She's strong, and I think this site suits those super strong skiers. This is a good pass, really early here for 6. One of the earliest 13 metre passes we've seen from the ladies. Alice Bagnoli.
And like you say, she looks really strong.
She does, yeah.
Could be overall contender.
Yep, she's a decent overall skier. Tricks 7,500 points. Jumps 45 metres, so she'll be in the mix, of course.
We saw some amazing jumps yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to love the jump event, don't you? It was sensational. Great to have Grant Barnett up here and expert comments. Former, of course, 200-foot jumper Grant Barnett, and he certainly added a little bit more insight and intelligence. I think later on today, Grant Barnett's going to do Series 2 of the ladies jump, and then we're going to have Jarrett Llewellyn hopefully come in and do Series 1 of the ladies jump. So look forward to that. A lot of skiing to go before that, though. Of course, we've got women's slalom. We're still probably hour and a half of women's slalom to go, and then of course we'll have a quick break, and we'll have men's tricks, seed and 2 and 1, which are the best trick skiers in the world, and then of course after that will be the jump. So plenty of action to watch. One of the busiest days, I would say, at these World Championships today. This is 12 metre line. This is must run, of course, for this young lady from Italy. And at the moment, she's getting it done as she pulls across to 4, takes it easy on 4, which is a smart move. Round 5, she's going to get the 6. That is great skiing. Really good skiing from Alice Bagnoli from Italy. Pump fist, a little kind of ironic, sarcastic fist pump, because she's super relieved, I think, to run 12. Probably normally runs 12 reasonably easy, but she's seen so many skiers before her fail to run this pass, and I think she's super happy to have completed it.
Yeah, and that's got to make you nervous, right? Seeing all these really good skiers falling.
Yeah, unfortunately it does, and it kind of sometimes has the effect of lowering the scores. You know, if everyone else is, and you start to doubt, you think, well, what's going on here, you know? And this is super strong skiing though from this young lady from Italy. She's like, I watched that all day. The hit she took out of 5-ball. Okay, remember the lead is still with Peru. It's 2 on this pass with Maria Kuglevan. And I think that 2 at 11 is starting to look like a possible cut for the final.
I'm going to call it at 3.
You reckon 3? And you might be right, yet. It could easily be 3 or 4 at the 11 because there's some really good skiers still to come. I'm looking at how hard it is for a lot of these skiers to to run 12, you know, and I'm thinking maybe the cut will be 2. We'll just wait and see. It's something fun for us to talk about. I think really important though for Alice that she makes sure she gets 2 here. I mean, if she gets around 2 and she's got a chance to go for 3 or 4 a run it, then go for it. But if she gets to 2 and she's in a little bit of trouble, it's probably not a bad idea to stand up. But I'm sure the Italian team coach has already given her a plan and told her what to do. The last thing she'd want to be doing is taking my advice. She comes through into 1, round 1, not a good 1. Does she even get to 2? Don't think she did. So 1 on the 11.25, probably not going to be enough to make the final, but you never know. She'll wait and see. She ties up with Sadie Ferguson, of course.
It's a darn shame.
It is a shame. You never quite know, though. It's close enough that she's definitely... You wouldn't be heading off to the shopping mall right now because it's sort of close enough that you've got a chance maybe of a run-off later on. Next competitor will be Jeana Kruger from Germany, so I look forward to her skiing.
German team has been training quite a bit recently on the other lake, so it's been nice to see them here.
Yeah, Jeana spent a bit of time in New Zealand a couple of years ago, training before Moomba. Skied a couple of our tournaments in New Zealand. She's a lovely young lady.
Not related to Freddy Krueger?
No, different spelling and... Oh no, it's actually not different spelling. Same spelling, you're right, but different countries. Jeana Kruger, who is actually from Germany, not Italy, but real close to each other, those two countries. That's a good pass. You know, as you said, one of the skiers that's been here for quite a while. They've done a bit of training on site, so hopefully got our eyes in on the conditions here. Really early out of full ball there. Good opening pass, 14.25 for Jeana Kruger. Amazing backdrop, isn't it? You know, I'm thinking the only other backdrop I can think of that is as interesting for world waterskiing is probably Moomba. You're probably the Melbourne city skyline, but it really is a magnificent sight here. Bringing waterskiing, of course, into effectively into a city of 8 or 9 million people. We're Putrajaya, which is in itself, it's the government head for Malaysia, and it's a town with 100,000 people, but we're only 40 minutes from the centre of Kuala Lumpur, of course, which has got 8 or 9 million people. So hopefully we're going to see a really big crowd here over the weekend. Here we go. Okay, this is the 13 metre line now for Jeana Kruger. Just scrambling a little bit here, but she's getting it done. I was a little bit hard in the mouth. I thought she was starting to get a bit late, but I think in the end she had it under control there on the 13 metre. Here we go. We've got a replay, Philippa. 13 metre line.
Oh, yeah. I thought they said she was on 12, but yeah, 13 metre line, looking pretty comfortable there. The camera is just kind of dark because we're getting some clouds in. Might look like rain soon, so hopefully it can hold off until we finish this exciting women's slalom. So she'll be coming back in for her crunch pass, 12 meters. And
Wow, this is the
hopefully,
pass that's tripped up so many, unfortunately. It's the difference at the moment, I think, between making or missing out on the final is running this passing, obviously getting a few boys in the 11.25. So Jeana Kruger from Germany. Here we go, 12-meter line. Let's see how she goes. Needs a good start. Rears up a little bit, but it's not too bad. Breaks forward on 2, but she seems to be reasonably on time here at the moment. Good 3 ball. Fighting hard. Around 4. Oh, great stuff. Round 4. Round 5. And she'll get to 6, does she? She does. Good skiing. It's that 4 ball, isn't it, at 12? And it sort of...
Yeah, I think that was the best 12-meter pass we've seen.
Yeah, no, that was fine. That was a good, really good 12-meter pass. Yeah. But I get a little bit nervous as they're coming into that 4 boy at 12 because watch the replay. It is just a little
really
movie there, and I think you obviously if you're on time, or it's not so bad, but if you're running late at 4, it's going to be pretty difficult, I think. Just watch 3 here, and she come across to 4, and she did enough, didn't she?
Yep, just broke forward slightly around 2 and a little bit on 4, but nothing drastic, and just kept in control. So that was really nice.
Yep, so current lead is 2, of course, on this pass, still with Peru and Maria Kuglevan. We've got 2 skiers with 1 at 11, Alice Bagnoli of Italy and Sadie Ferguson of Australia. That's our top 3 at the moment. We're not too far off getting to our last 12 skiers. So if Jeana was able to get more than 2 right now, I think she's a real good chance of making the final. That's got to be her aim.
Yeah, I'm not going to call it anymore.
No,
I don't
it's
think I can.
impossible. We've been doing this for a lot of times, and you make calls, and it's so hard to get it right. But you try and have a bit of a guess. You got to have something to talk about, don't you? So let's see how she goes. Hopefully, can get at least around 2 ball on this 11.25. Round 1, not a good one. I think we're going to end up. Judge's call. We'll leave that one to the judges. I got a feeling she might have been inside it, but I don't.
I think so.
No.
Yeah. I don't think she got there.
You don't think she got around it?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so either. But we'll leave that to the judges. So what are we thinking here now? Is that probably not going to be enough to make the final? But once again, if you Sadie Ferguson, Gina Kruger or Alice Bagnoli, you wouldn't be wanting to head off to the shopping mall right now. I think you'd want to be staying around in case of a runoff. Pretty sure she's inside that boy, but it's a judge's call, of course.
Look at the clouds in the background. Hopefully
yeah,
it'll skirt
it
around
is thickening
us,
up a little bit. I still think we're a wee way off any rain, though. There's no wind, so I think that means the rain might take a little bit longer to get here. There's nothing to blow it here. I don't know. Not a weather expert. Paige Rennie up next from Canada. I'll just confirm that score for Gina Kruger because it is very, very important. David, what was Gina's score, please? Do we get it? Okay, Paige Rennie from Canada, of course. Really been skiing super well lately, actually. She's been, I see at Pan Am Games in Peru, she finished on the podium in overall. And really all 3 events are on the improve for her. Once again, I'd say this is 14.25 metre to start. That was a good pass. She's got a personal best of 1.5 at 10.75, so gives her a real good shot at getting into the final if she can get onto the 11, of course.
Yeah, daughter of the famous Matt Rennie, of course.
Dave.
And
Can we confirm
stepdaughter to Whitney McClintock Rennie. So be good to see this family skiing legend.
Oh, absolute legends, yeah. Great Waterski family out of Canada, of course, reside now in Orlando. dad, Matt, of course, runs a bit of a ski school there in Orlando. So we can confirm that Jeana Kruger's score was 1 at 11. So for Waterski fans around the world, so that's the way it looked anyway to us, and that's how the judges saw it. So still leading from 2 days ago, believe it or not, Maria Kuglevan with 2 at 11. But we now have 3 skiers tied at 1 at 11. Of course, Alice Bagnoli, Gina Kruger and Sadie Ferguson all tied with 1 on 11. And we are down to 15 skiers to go, plus Paige Rennie who's on the water. So 16 skiers to go, 12 into the final. So we're not too far off now from absolutely knowing what our cut is. Round 1 she goes. This is 13 metre, 32 off for Paige Rennie, representing Canada, of course. No worries at all. Good pass there, 13 metre line.
And a really interesting gait. Have you seen that before? One hand like that?
Yeah, I've seen it before, but it is a little bit different.
Yeah,
sure.
it's a little bit different because it's like an open hand, like a small open hand, right?
Yeah.
Not a.
Yeah, it'll hit. Let's watch it now. You're right. I do a one-handed gait, Philippa, but it's mainly because by the time I get up out of the water, get my foot in the back kicker, I'm just my shorts, itch my nose, I've still got that one hand off, if you know what I mean.
That's some
Nobody cares, do they?
super skiing, isn't it?
Oh,
One-handed
it's
like
great
that.
fun.
Yeah. Are you still skiing then?
Yeah, very badly, but yes.
Oh.
You're still skiing, aren't you, Philippa? Come on, you must be.
No.
Don't tell me no. That's disappointing.
Not
Actually, I
skiing.
see announced yesterday over 35 Worlds are going to be in Bordeaux, France next year. So that would be one for you. You need to aim for that.
Oh yeah.
Enjoy that.
Maybe I should make a comeback.
Yeah, you should. You should definitely make a comeback. That's hot off the press. I think that was only decided yesterday at the IWDF board meeting that those over 35 Worlds. I can't remember what date it will be, but I'd say it'll be sort of this time next year in France. So it's definitely one you should be looking at.
So who's going from New Zealand?
Oh, we'll get skiers from New Zealand for sure.
Sure.
Hopefully we'll get a full team. It's one of those, you know, especially for the over 35 type skiers, the wives and the husbands and all that, you know, it's the old trip to Bordeaux, France is kind of attractive.
There are ripples coming across the course at the moment, so they've been holding.
Okay,
She's coming back now.
here we go. Paige Rennie now. 12 metre line. We've said there's a lot. It's a crunch pass. This is the pass that she needs to run if she's going to make the final. Round 1 she goes. Good start on 1 actually. Crossed to 2. Looking good. Looking really solid at the moment. 3 ball. Heads to 4. Round 4 she goes. Little late out of 4, but she's okay. Not around 5. That's interesting. Well, I thought she was a little late out of 4, but I thought she was early enough to get around 5 there. Pippa, I'm surprised there. So that's a little disappointing. 4 at 12 for Paige Rennie. Let's see if we can see what happened here.
Yeah, she looks really good.
She was later than I realised, though, probably. Still, though, I've seen skiers that late out of 4 ball at 12 and still run the pass, but she was here. She got a little late out of 3 and it just compounded and got even later. Okay. So we have, I think what I'm hearing, we have a request for a rewrite for rollies out there at the moment. This will be an interesting one because it is a little movie out there, but it has been for every skier. The judges are going to have to decide whether it was more movie or more rolly for Paige than the rest of the field, so we'll leave that for them to decide and let you know as soon as we do know. Big moment though, because if she gets a rewrite for rollies, and I'm not saying I hope she does because I want to see her ski again, but if she does get a rewrite, it does kind of open it up for the rest of the field from now on to ask for rewrites for rollies, if you know what I mean. So the judges will have to make sure it was definitely worse for Paige than it has been for anyone else, and that's what they're talking about at the moment.
Yeah, it's a tough call. I don't envy the judges or the boat driver.
Okay, so here we go. We're going to let people judge at home whether this was more rolly than it has been for other skiers. Probably not for us really to comment too much, Pippa. This is 2-ball here, which that end of the course has actually been probably the better end of the course. Here we're coming down to 3 here. Yeah, well, I don't think that's any more rolly than it's been for anyone, but she's a little bit late here. But it's this next buoy, this 4-buoy from the start dock end, has been quite movie all day.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to stay out of this. It's a judge's call. It is hard to know whether that's any worse than anyone else has had it, but no, I don't think. I think she's coming home, folks. I think re-ride request is denied for Paige. It's disappointing for Paige. Judges have been in a tough spot there. They've got to make a call. She seen, the trouble started for her, I think, at 3-ball, and to be honest, I didn't think 3-ball looked too bad compared to the rest of what the skiers have had. But
like you said, she probably could have cleared it, right, from all the other skiers if she had knuckled down, maybe.
Well, I think Sadie Ferguson was later than her at 4-ball and managed to run it. It's just one of those things. It's pretty easy for us to comment up here, but it's disappointing, I'm sure, for Paige and Team Canada, but I don't know that she's going to make it through to the final there, so disappointing stuff. And all of a sudden, that 1 at 11 is starting to look like it's getting pretty close to making a final. We don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see. Well, we're going to Russia now, and it's Alyssa Shevkanova. Shevkanova, I think that's as good as I'm going to get it anyway. Alyssa Shevkanova from Russia.
And after that, Belgium.
Yeah, and then we go, of course, to Celine Dietrich from Belgium, and then, of course, Australian skier Emma Haberman. Okay, we go to Russia here now. 14.25 metre line. What can you tell me, Philippa, about this young lady?
Not very much at the moment, but I'm trying to get her thingy up. 1 second.
Well, she's looks fairly tall, fairly strong to me. And that's a good opening pass there on the 14.25.
The Russians have typically come up with some really strong skiers, eh? Good jumpers.
Yeah, so 6 buoys is the score on that opening pass, 14.25. Yeah, no worries at all there. Opening pass 14.25 for Alyssa Shevkanova of Russia. And beautiful conditions here at the moment. We've talked a little bit about the movement on the water. One of the reasons why that is standing out is because it's glass calm. I mean, any ski site in the world, when it's glass calm, it kind of shows up every little movement, doesn't it? Which is unfortunate. But I think we're way better to be in this situation than with a strong breeze blowing. So, and it's been like that pretty much right the way through the slalom. The girls that slalom, the ladies that slalomed on Tuesday, the guys that slalomed yesterday, and the ladies that slalom today are all pretty much getting these same conditions, which is virtually no wind at all, if no wind, and just a little movie, but certainly It's not too bad out there at the moment as we watch this 13-metre pass. Good pass, no worries at all from the Russian, of course. Alyssa.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. If we had a little bit of a breeze, it would knock some of these, some of this movement down. And it would also help the spectators. Probably, it's probably really hot out down there at the moment.
Oh, I keep forgetting about them. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's, she's a pleasant 22 degrees here in the air conditioning. But yeah, it is. Sorry, folks, it's probably pretty hot out there for you. That's a good one ball. Good solid start. Yeah, great 30-metre. Now look, we've seen this so many times. The athletes go up and they run a nice 14-metre, a good 13-metre, and then it's at the extra metre of rope from 13 down to 12, and it just gets so much tougher. And the moment's about to come up here, the 12-metre moment for Shevchenko from Russia. Here we go, big moment now, 12-metre line. We're on a start dock end, 35 off. The one she goes, out of one, not too bad. She's on to two, she's got two, getting pretty late here. She needs a big 3 ball to make up some time. Not a bad 3 actually, across the 4. She's around 4. She's conservative on 4, which I think's smart. She's got 5, can she get to 6? She should. Around 6 and out the exit gates. And there we go, the Russians run the 12-metre line, and she's given herself a shot at a final here.
Big sigh of relief at the end.
Yeah, but that's a big moment. Tell me the last time a Russian slalomer made this world's final. Philippa? I mean, I'm sure it's happened, but I can't think of any. I actually can't think of any great Russian slalom skiers right now, but sorry to offend everyone in Russia, but I'm sure there's been some, but she's a big moment if this young lady can make the slalom final. I can think of plenty great Russian jumpers and slalom skiers, of course. Oh, sorry, trick skiers, but this is good. And you see, she gets the 4 ball. She's seen a lot of the athletes fall here, and she just makes sure it doesn't do too much. She's happy to let herself get a little bit down course, heads across the 5. She's got 5. She's laid here for 6, but she always knows that a big, strong lean, and she's going to get there. Around 6, takes the hit and out the exit gates. And now I reckon anything more than 1, and she's got a real shot at making a slalom final. See those magnificent Masterline tow boats. Good look at the shock tube there. Of course, we're using Masterline tow ropes exclusively here at these World Champs. Through the gate she goes, round 1. No, she's going to struggle to get to 2. Wow. This is a log jam at 1 at 11. And I think there's 2 possibilities here. Either all of these girls are going to miss out on the final with 1 at 11, or we're going to have a huge runoff here. So it's going to go one way or the other.
Yeah,
as
totally
we
agree
move our
with
way
you.
down.
They're so close to the boat at that stage, right? They're just right up there, and they're just going on the back of their ski. Once you get down to 11 metre, it's so hard to get a good start. It's the first time, of course, where the rope's shorter than the length, the width of the course. So you've got to actually use some of the handle doesn't make it out to the buoy, so you've got to use some of your own reach. So you got to get up level with the pole, use some of your reach. That really is when we get into short line slalom once we get to the 11.25. And so important to have that shock tube, right?
Yeah.
Get that spring back and it comes into the boat.
It's not quite as bad as it used to be back in the day, back when we were skiing, because I think the handles are a little bit lighter now, so they don't quite ping as much into the back of the drive.
Yeah.
Hey, we're missing a skier here, so that Celine Dietrich from Belgium has failed to appear on the dot, because this is one of the all-time greats of women's slalom. This is Emma Herbermann, of course. And this is, I'm thinking 14.25. We'll have to confirm it. Geez, I wanted to give Emma the big build-up, but I didn't get the chance because we missed out on our Belgium athlete. 2-time world slalom champion. and opens up there. A little bit of a funky one ball because no famil, no practice. Emma flew in from a base in Sunshine Coast. She's even asking the driver which side to pull out. So she's, you know, there's always that one skier at the tournament that didn't go to the competitors briefing or whatever, gets a bit confused. But you watch this one boy here, first turn ever in Malaysia, and she's like, ooh, here we go. But it doesn't matter in the end because she's run the pass quite comfortably. Because two-time world slalom champion in women's. Great, you know, darling of Moomba, of course, multiple time winner at the Moomba Masters. Doesn't mind a bit of movie water. She'll be enjoying it out there. I mean, she'd love to obviously love skiing on perfect man-made sites, but she probably knows deep down on a perfect man-made site she's got no chance of winning. But you never know. Just out here, tough lady, one of the toughest ladies to ever water ski, of course. Former world jump record holder. Shout out to brother Curtis if he's watching. One of my favourite skiers of all time, of course, and the Shear family, tough people. Out of originally out of Victoria, of course, in Australia. Now Emma runs that ski school at Waterski up there on the Sunshine Coast. Here we go, 13-metre line now. Round one she goes. Round two. Got three. Looking pretty solid here across to... Oh, geez, no!
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, that is devastation. That's a huge upset, Emma. Emma Haberman, I picked her definitely to make the final here. I thought she was a shot at a medal. This is huge. This is a big upset. Devastation for Emma and Australia. Not quite sure why this happened, but I think she's probably in as much shock as anyone. Two-time former world champion. It's 13-metre line. Wow. Just bounced a little bit there, didn't she? Lost her edge coming into the buoy. That's devastation. That is a huge upset. I did not pick that at all.
Yeah, that was massive. Oh,
I mean, she's done everything in water skiing she needs to do. She's been a world champion, world record holder. But I still thought, you know, she'd come back a bit of a great story for us more mature people around on the site. I thought she'd come back and I thought these conditions would really suit her, but it just hasn't quite happened for her. Wow, from one great Aussie lady skier to the next, we go to Jacinta Carroll now. And all of a sudden, you know, if the Belgium skiers failed to make it to the dock, Celine Dietrich, Emma's gone down here on 13 metre. All of a sudden, we're getting close to knowing what our cut is, and 1 at 11 is starting to look likely.
Yeah.
I think because this is a change between Series 2 and 1, it's possible that we're going to a slight change. They won't change drivers, I don't think, but they might change a couple of officials. So we could just have a 2 or 3 minute break. Not entirely sure. Oh, I'm in shock actually. I really am. I thought Emma would have got herself onto the 11.25 at the very least there, but she just shows you anything can happen, and it usually does in the wide world of water skiing. Yeah, this is looking like a phantom pass here. What's that?
No, this upload has dropped off now. It's there, but it obviously the webcast is taking a lot of it.
Okay, folks, so if we look down the running order we have for Series 1 of Seed 1 of Women's Slalom, we know that Karen Seed 1, sheet 12. Now, if there's anyone else not here, I would love to know, because I seem to be only finding out as it happens on the dock. So if anyone knows of anyone, because it really does matter, because we're 12 into the final. We're down to 12 skiers now. So once Jacinta Carroll has completed her set, we're going to know. We're going to start putting finalists in. You know, it's either going to be Maria Kuglevan, who is currently leading, or Jacinta Carroll will be our first skier into the final. So that's how close we are, folks, to starting to get a picture. At the moment, the cut is 2 at 11, but it's probably not going to take too much to get back to 1 at 11. So there's a real log jam there. We'll have to wait and see. Mind you, having said that, all of the next 12 skiers are all very capable of running a couple on the 11.25 metre line. Okay, looks like we're going to do another phantom pass here, because well, I've just seen the boat head up to do a phantom pass, but also Jacinta's, who we see on the start talk, is actually taking a ski off, so there's obviously a little bit more time to go. Women's slalom elimination round. We are just a little bit after 10 o'clock here in Malaysia. I'm sure Waterski fans all around the world are watching this great coverage. Hope you're enjoying the webcast. Thanks very much to Waterskiers, World Waterskiers, for bringing us this webcast. A lot of time and money's been put in by these great hard-working people at World Waterskiers to bring us this webcast. And, well, a bit of some sensational upsets. Some skiers who we expected to probably be in the slalom final are not going to make it. A young lady by the name of Maria Kuglevan, who slalom 2 days ago in Series 4, is looking like a good shot now of making that slalom final.
Yeah, she's going to be ecstatic. I don't think she thought in a million years she'd make the finals.
No, and it's interesting, and the course record here, of course, we came into this tournament, it was 2 at 11. April Coble, ally she is known now, but she set that 10 years ago here in the World Cup stop. Well, it's been equalled, of course, by Maria Kuglevan, and I'm sure it's going to be surpassed by one of these next 12 skiers, but it's still holding there at 2 at 11, the course record.
Yeah, it's anybody's game, man. We see the great Emma Haberman go down. Anyone could go down.
Absolutely. So the red boat heads back down, and I'm pretty sure we'll have Jacinta up off the start dock very short. Series 1 Women's Slalom. Elimination round. Let's sort of run through who's in this event, because Jacinta Carroll's first up. Then Anna Gay from the USA. Belarus competitor Alexandra Danchiskawa. I do know how to say that name, and I will get it eventually. I just got to remember. And then, of course, we've got Ali Nicholson, Hannah Ederbeck from Sweden, Brooke Baldwin from the USA. From France, we've got Amber Frank. We've got Jamie Bull from Canada. We've got the Kiwi, Jamie Metcalf. Of course, Whitney McClintock-Rini from Canada. We've got Manon Castard of France. And, of course, Regina Jacques of the USA. Okay, here we go. We've got another phantom pass here. Great opportunity to take another look at that sensational Nautic towboat though. The red boat is heading off to my homeland of New Zealand.
Have you been in one yet?
Yeah, I have. I've had the pleasure of done a bit of driving with the new Nautic. Actually skied behind one at the New Zealand Nationals. We're super lucky in New Zealand. We have a great relationship with Nautic, great sponsorship. Nautic's probably the major sponsor of New Zealand water skiing, as it is of world water skiing. So we're super blessed to get to use Nautics all the time at most of our major tournaments, or all our major tournaments. So yeah, they're magnificent boats.
What do you use at your lake?
I've got a Nautic. I've got a 200. I'm still rocking a 2000 and I think it's either 15 or 16 200. It's a great boat, really nice boat. So yeah, they're great to ski behind the Nautics and great to drive, and unbelievably reliable. I mean, I know you guys you run Nautics here and do lots of hours here, but I've run Nautics probably on my lake now for 15 years, maybe 12 to 15 years, and never have any issues at all, never have any breakdowns, any troubles. Put up some pretty decent hours. Did have one issue that was my son's fault, but if you don't put the bung in when you launch them, they don't float that well. So but that was nothing to do with the mechanics of the boat.
Jeez, what happened?
Oh, Curtis had the beating of his life, basically. That's what happened. No, I'm joking. But yeah, actually the boat, but the funny thing was, so this is a 2001 Nautic, and it didn't sink to the bottom of the lake, it sunk down, but it started right up, believe it or not. We dried it out, and the good old Nautic, you push the start button and she started up, so it's still running now to this day.
What, straight away? How long did you dry it?
Oh, overnight, I guess. Took the plugs out, changed a couple of spark plugs, and that's how good Nautics are. They run underwater if they have to. It's sort of recommended that you don't. I think if you talk to Jack Hilson, who's on site for Nautic, and he would probably say that they don't recommend running Nautics underwater, but they do still work if it happens. It's amazing the stories you tell when you're waiting for the next slalom skier, isn't it?
Yes.
Just probably embarrass my son worldwide.
I don't think so.
Okay, so as we said, the no wind, which is great. Conditions looking superb out there at the moment, and we should have Aussie Jacinta Carroll. Interesting that Jacinta's in this top seed. I think she's probably in this top seed because of her overall ranking. No disrespect to Jacinta, but I think she's a solid overall skier. Of course, world record holder in the jump, and really good tricker. But I think her slalom score's probably, you'd normally see her skiing down in Series 2, but I think we have a world rule that the top 4 or 5 overall skiers all have to ski in the same seed so that we get similar conditions. Okay, we're going to have to keep coming up with a bit of banter here.
Banter yes.
Between us, because we're still doing phantom passes here.
Oh,
red boat.
Just a reminder to all the water skiers, we may need some of you at the media center and at the mix zone, just at the bottom of the judges tower. If you do fall and you have to walk back to the docks, please stop at the mix zone for interviews.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We've got a lot of media here, local Malaysian media, that are just dying to get some good interviews with skiers. So please, and sometimes when you fall, it's been a little disappointing, I guess, but let's be nice and positive and open and do those media centre interviews. Obviously, we've got to keep selling the sport worldwide. Been some great coverage. You know, sit down. watch the news at night here in Malaysia on TV in the hotel room, and you see water skiing on the national news. It's so good. It really is. It's great to see everyone getting behind this event.
Yep, got some performances coming up this weekend in conjunction with the carnival. Gonna have maybe 40 food trucks, magicians, petting zoo, all that kind of stuff. So should be a bit of a carnival atmosphere.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, well, I've had word that all of the top seed of slalom are here on site and will ski apart from Karen Truelove. So we've got 12 to go. Current top score is 2 at 11. We need 12 for the final, so it's pretty easy, isn't it, really? We know now what our cut is. At this stage, it's 2 at 11. It might drop back to that 1 at 11, but we'll just have to wait and see. I can't see it going any lower than 1 at 11. I can't see it dropping back to our 5 at 12, which I think from memory is Erica Lang. I think there's enough with 1 at 11 that will be as low as the cut goes. Okay, here we go. One of the biggest events at these Worlds, Seed 1 of women's slalom. The whole world of water skiing will be tuning in to watch this one, depending on what time it is. Of course, if you're in Australia right now, it's lunchtime, isn't it? About 20 past 12 if you're on the eastern seaboard of Australia. And that's where I'm sure most of Jacinta Carroll's fans are watching. And unfortunately, if you're in Florida, it's a little after midnight, so I guess a few of the eastern coast of the United States fans will be burning the midnight oil to watch this slalom. So here we go. Jacinta Carroll, obviously favourite in the women's jump event. Great trick skier as well. Good chance of podium finish in overall, I would have thought.
Yeah.
Definitely top 4 or 5 in the world in women's overall. Important for her and her overall score, and also Australia's team score, though, that she rocks up with a good slalom score here. I'm thinking this is 14 metre. I didn't hear from the boat judge, but looks like 14 metre to me. Look at that. That's great stuff. Around 6 she goes. Easy as you like. Jacinta Carroll runs the 14.25. Jacinta, of course, lives now up in Queensland, grew up in southern Victoria, Geelong I think it was, which is only probably an hour or so south of Melbourne, so kind of grew up watching the Moomba Masters, I'm sure, grew up skiing in that Victoria area, resides now up in Queensland. Gets a bit of coaching whilst in Australia from Curtis Shears actually. But also when she goes to the States, spends a lot of time with Kyle Eade, who's a Kiwi there at Ski Fluid.
How often
World
is
record
she
holder in jump,
in America?
What's that?
Does she live in America?
No, she lives in Australia. She works in Australia. In fact, she does these kind of like hit and run missions to pro events around the world. You know, she'll fly in for the US Masters. She'll be in the States for only a week. She'll go to some tournaments. I've seen her go some tournaments around the world, and she's only there for 3 or 4 days. Wins the event, gets on a plane, flies home.
Wow.
Very busy with work, I'm sure, back home in Queensland. This is 13 metre line now for Jacinta Carroll. She's back on the ski a little bit, but she's okay. Across the 6 buoy and runs that 13 metre pass. Of course, champion weightlifter as well, Australian champion weightlifter.
I did not know that.
So close to going to the Olympics next year. I don't know where she's at with that at one stage. It looked like she was going to go to the Olympics next year in Tokyo for weightlifting. Something happened. It was actually a official error, like someone from Weightlifting Australia didn't fill out the right form or something, or some story like that where she missed out. Not quite sure where it ended up, but she's an absolute champion. I mean, super tough competitor, super strong.
Where did she find the time? Full-time job, skiing,
I've
weightlifting?
no idea. Weightlifting, water skiing, working. Just an absolute legend. Nickname, of course, is Rabbit.
Why?
I don't actually know why she's nicknamed Rabbit, but seems to fit.
Yeah, you Aussies like your nicknames, huh?
Here
Oh,
we
you're
go.
down
This is
under.
12 metre line. So this is once again the important pass, the crunch pass, both for her overall chances, Team Australia, and an outside chance of making the final. Here we go. 12 metre line now. Jacinta Carroll. Round one she goes. Comes out of one. Hits for two. She's got two. Great stuff out of two. She's on this at the moment. Round three. Look at her go. The Aussie. 12 metre line. Round four. She's going to get to five. She's got five. She's all over this Philippa as she runs the 12 metre line. Sensational stuff from the Aussie. That is cool, calm and collective. Not even a fist pump at the end there. She just got the job done. Wow. Jacinta Carroll. I'll tell you what, that is very significant for her overall chances on a site that is probably going to favour jumpers and trickers, I think, in overall. For her to get a score on the 11 metre line will really help out her overall chances. So this is a great result, I think, for Jacinta Carroll as she runs that 12 metre line.
Yeah, and like you said, the Aussies just get down to work, right? They're just so tough.
Oh, they're tough, yeah. Win at all costs, of course, Australians a lot of the time. Not the water ski. Water skiers are a bit calmer, but they can be. Sometimes Australians can go a little bit overboard. I'm thinking cricket right now, and no one on site knows what I'm talking about, but the Aussies will be smiling to themselves. But Jacinta Carroll's doing the job out there at the moment. Remember, two is the mark. More than two guarantees herself in the final. If she gets two, then she would have a runoff to make the final, depending on what happened after her. So this is pretty exciting stuff there for Jacinta Carroll. The worst thing she could do here is get half. She definitely doesn't want to get half, so she's got to make sure that she at least gets one and probably gets to two. First sign of a little bit of chop out there, actually. On the day, round one she goes. She should get to two. I think she will. Sensational stuff. Does she get to three? She does, I think. Oh, she's a superstar. Look at her go. Cross to four. That is sensational.
Oh my goodness.
If that's four, boys, I want to know what Jacinta Carroll's slalom PB is, because to me that's got to be pretty close.
Oh, we're up.
That's unbelievable stuff. Slalom PB's 2 at 11, and that's a personal best from Jacinta Carroll. That is sensational stuff. Oh, wow, look at this. You want to see how to ski the slalom course here at Putrajaya. You have a look at Jacinta Carroll. Has she got four?
I think so. I think she got it.
Unbelievable stuff, and I tell you what, that does so much. It does so much for Australia. It does so much for her overall chances. Jacinta Carroll, and that is a new course record here, Putrajaya. Jacinta Carroll, she's probably going to hold the course jump record here by the end of the week. Well, at the moment, she's got the course record in slalom. How good is she?
Yep, that's super amazing.
Okay, we're going to watch Amber Frank now.
No, Anna Gay.
Oh, Anna Gay, sorry. And that's a good opening pass. I'm just going to have to confirm that actually was 11 for Jacinta, because I'm starting to doubt myself. I'm only running off the information that I get told. Okay. We're going to have to confirm. It's possible that Jacinta Carroll started at 16, which leaves me with a bit of egg in my face, but I've actually lost my man here. We're going to confirm Jacinta Carroll's score there. Meanwhile, Amber Frank's opened up with a nice pass. Yeah, because we didn't actually get a call from the boat on Jacinta Carroll's start length.
4 at 12.
Okay, so that is, so Jacinta's got 4 at 12, folks. So I'm sorry, I'm embarrassed about that. But at the end of the day, I didn't get a call from the boat, and we're only working with information we've got. So apologies to the whole world of water skiing. It's a fairly embarrassing moment for me in commentary, but Jacinta Carroll hasn't broken a course record, hasn't got a 2-boy PB. She's finished up with 4 at 12, which means Maria Kuglevan has made her way into the slalom final now. Okay, so we're going to have to try and get a little sharp up here and with the webcast and everything. As we watch Amber Frank now, pass number 2. Sorry, Anna Gay, pass number 2. We just noticed a little bit of wind just starting to get up, a little bit of side shot. Once they get into the course though, they have got that wave break, wind break, which will calm things down a little bit. Here's Anna Gay. Across the 3-ball. Round 3. Heads for 5 now, looking pretty good. Good pass there.
And another skier who didn't have much practice, arriving late after the US Nationals. So good to see her out there.
So what line lengths was that, David? We're going to have to get this. We're going to have to get better at this.
That was 13.
That was 12. That was 12.
Really?
I've asked them to downstairs to tell them what the easy pass is before it counts. So no.
Okay, we see Anna Gay down there at the start dock end. And just a quick shot of Dad Russell. We just had the opportunity to have a quick chat with her actually as she comes in. I'm going to say this is 12 metre coming up here for Anna. Yeah, 12 metre, yeah. So this is the one. I'm still feeling the pain after, sorry, apologies to everyone on site and webcast for getting it wrong. Just getting the information given to me. But anyway, here's Anna Gay now, 12 metre line, not a good start on 1. She's in trouble on 2. I don't know that she's going to run this, and she doesn't. 2 on the 12 metre line for Anna Gay. Okay, so now we have a situation, folks, where we are probably going to have a run-off to decide the women's slalom final. As we watch Jeana Kruger here and replay, she's going to finish up with 2 at 12. So that's unofficial. That's just from us here at commentary and webcast. But we have 4 skiers tied with, make that 4 skiers tied with 1 at 11. 5 skiers tied with 1 at 11. She never skied. We've got 4 skiers tied with 1 at 11, and I believe right now as it stands, if all the remaining skiers get 1 at 11 or more, we're going to have a massive runoff for the slalom final. That is unconfirmed though, that is just unofficial by my maths, but it's starting to look like we're going to have a runoff in slalom. She never skied. Okay. Anna Gay, 2 at 12 metre. She'll be slightly disappointed, but at the end of the day, she's tricking is her arena course. She's here to try and win the trick title. Conditions are just starting to change a little bit here, and the breeze is starting to pick a little bit up from the southeast. It will be protected a little bit with the wind and wave break that we have for the slalom course, but hopefully it doesn't affect things too much in this exciting seed 1 of slalom. Okay, we've got a start length here. 14 metre coming up for Belarusian athlete Alexandra Danishkaya. Alexandra Danishkaya. Very tough name for me to pronounce, but that is the Belarusian, of course. Alexandra. 1 at 11 at the moment, looks to be the bubble for the ladies slalom final. Here we go. Was from Belarus, but goes to college in the US of A, trains, of course, in the USA. Okay, round 1 ball she goes. 14.25 to start. Round 3. Nice and early, looking pretty solid here on the 14.25, 28 off. Yeah, you can just see where they're shortening up there on the northern end. There's a little bit of chop just starting to come across. And you can look at the flags now. The breeze is just starting to get up a little bit for these ladies. We just hope it doesn't get any worse out there. Magnificent venue for these world champs with the grandstand and right in the Putrajaya city here, of course. As we watch
This one didn't ski.
okay, so we're going to have a 13 metre pass coming up very shortly. Alexandra Danishkaya. Here we go, one more go. Alexandra Danishkaya from Belarus. There you go, Philippa beat that. This last name's using pretty much every letter in the alphabet, this young lady, but let's see how she slaloms. That's what it's all about. Round 3 she goes. This is 13 metre line, 32 off. It's across the 6. And a good 13 metre pass.
Yeah, that's sweet. You're right, Glenn. Wind's picking up a little bit. Hopefully it can not come up too much before we finish this series.
So 1 at 11 at the moment is looking like the bubble, and we've got at the moment we have got 4 skiers tied on 1 at 11. So you're telling me the Russian didn't ski, but she's still there. Okay, so we're at the moment. Let's run down the skiers, the leaders board. We've got 2 at 11 with Maria Kuglevan from Peru. She is clear and into the final. Then we have at the moment 4 ladies with 1 at 11. At this stage, they are looking at a runoff situation, depending on what happens with this pass, the 12 metre pass. Oh, geez, not a good start on 1, and she's gone down from 1 to 2 on the 12 metre line. Our Belarusian athlete. We still, of course, that still doesn't mean that we don't get a runoff situation, because we've still got 4 girls on 1 at 11. That's going to be a big help, though. That's really, it's just too loud at the moment. So that's devastation for Alexander from Belarus, because 1 at 12 is not going to be enough to make it through to the final. She's a solid overall skier though, so I guess she's got some sort of an overall score. So yeah, at the moment we have got one girl clean through into the final, Maria Kuglevan, from 2 days ago. We have got 4 skiers: Sadie Ferguson, Alice Bagnoli, Jeana Kruger, and we think Celine Dietrich from Belgium is in as well. If you're looking at the same scoreboard I'm looking at, it's saying Alyssa Sharakanova from Russia scored 1 at 11, but I'm also getting reports she didn't actually ski, so it's a little bit of confusion around. So I think there's only 4 girls with 1 at 11. We are going to clarify that for you. And of course then Erica Lang with her 5 at 12, currently sitting in 7th spot with a bunch of skiers still to go. Unlikely that she'll make it through to the final, but I guess she's in the reckoning depending on what happens over the next half an hour or so. So it is starting to look like we would have some sort of a runoff. It's unclear how many skiers will be in that runoff for the ladies slalom final. Next competitor representing the United States will be Ellie Nicholson. And of course she's an absolute superstar of sport, wonderful family and water skiing, Nicholson family of course. Great slalom skiers. And as I said, the conditions maybe just getting a little bit breezier, although as I just said that, it looks as though it's died off again a little bit. So all in all, probably not too bad right now for this young lady out of the United States. Get a profile. 14 metre line to start. That didn't come through that time. Okay, Ellie Nicholson. Now, normally I'm sure in practice at home, the goal of getting 2 at 11 is pretty simple any day of the week, but this is a little bit different. The pressure of World's Final, she's in a different country, everything's feeling a little bit different for her. It's a 14 metre to start, and I'll tell you what, she's looked very comfortable here on the opening pass. Yep, scores come through from the judges. 6 boys on her opening pass. 42.5, Ellie Nicholson from the USA. Okay, so we can confirm that the Russian competitor Alyssa Shevnikova didn't actually take part in the slalom today, even though some of the online scoring systems have her at 1 at 11. It was a pretty decent score to get 1 at 11 because she's currently still in Russia or something. She's not here, so she didn't happen. So sorry for the confusion. In fact, I look now, and she's been taken off that scoring system, which is great to see. Apologies to anyone. You know, it all comes down, we rely on the boat judge calling through at the end of the day, so I'm not trying to deflect anything from my mistakes, but here we go. So here we go, this is now 13 metre line for Ellie Nicholson from the US of A. She's not the greatest one she's ever had at 32 off, I wouldn't think, but she's okay out of 2 ball. Round 3, she's getting it done here. She heads down to 4, little down course, but she's fine, I think. Round 5, and good pass there in the end on the 13 metre line for Ellie Nicholson from the USA. Yeah, so we've looking for 12 skiers to make it through to the final, and we have got onto our 4th skier in this series 1. There's 12 in this series, so at the completion of Ellie Nicholson we'll be down to 8 skiers to go. The only skier we can guarantee so far that's into the final is Maria Kuglevan of Peru. 12-metre line coming up now for Ellie Nicholson. So if she runs this pass and gets more than 1, she's guaranteed. So 1 1/4 would guarantee her. Okay, here we go. It's 12-metre line now. Getting a little bit down courses, Ellie. Oh, geez, that number 4 ball. It's a tough one, isn't it? Oh, you can see the disappointment. I mean, I'm stating the obvious here, Pivot, but you do not want to be late for that 4 ball from the start docking because it's tough to turn, isn't it? Seems to be that way.
Yeah, that's a killer, man, that 4 ball. She's going to be really disappointed with that one.
She is. So...
So we've got 5 skiers who've gone into 11.25 now.
4, I think. I think it's still 4. Oh, and here we can now, the confusion continues because I'm now looking at a score for Sadie Ferguson of half at 11, not 1 at 11. When up until the scoreboard I was looking at, up until a few minutes ago, had it at 1 at 11. So that changes the picture as well. So it's a little bit of confusion here at the moment. Just, well, probably everybody at home knows exactly what's happening and everyone on site. It's only you and I that are acting confused. But for a long time there, I'm sure I was looking at a score for Sadie Ferguson of 1 at 11. But whether it was reviewed or something, I'm now looking at a score of half at 11 for Sadie. So that's disappointing though for Ellie Nicholson. They're 4 on the 12. It's one of those scores that's super close to making the final, but not quite there. Although I guess you'd never rule it out completely, would you? But there would have to be quite a few upsets for Ellie Nicholson to get through with 4 on the 12-metre line. Yeah, 14-metre line to start now for Jeana Kruger, our next competitor out of Sweden. So let's just start on the 14. I'm thinking pretty much all of these skiers left will start on the 14.25 metre. Certainly make my life a little bit easier. Catch me out if they all started on the same line length. Mind you, they're not skiing to make life easy for me. They're skiing to get into a slalom final. Yeah, so out of Sweden, of course, very good in the slalom event, the Swedes, and it's been a while since. They do produce a few jumpers, not too many trickers lately, but really strong slalom skiers. They're a tall bunch of people, of course, the Scandinavians. So slalom probably suits them quite well. I think of their greatest ever jumper, Mike Shaylander. He was probably the tallest ever 200-foot jumper when you think of him. Geez, he was 6'6" or something. Mike Shaylander.
Jeez, yeah, that's
big, tall guy, yeah. But that's a good opening pass here on the 14.25 for Jeana. Six boys is official now, scored. Shorten now down to the green, shortening the 13-metre line for Jeana Kruger of Sweden. So as it stands, by my calculations, Maria Kuglovan is still the only skier guaranteed to be in the final. We have got 3 or so skiers on 1 at 11. We could have a run-off situation with those skiers. That, of course, is Alice Bagnoli, Selena Dietrich and Jeana Kruger. But we're only really a couple of skiers away, and depending on how they go, it's possible that all of those skiers with 1 at 11 may just make it into the final anyway. We just have to wait and see. Okay, here we go. This is 13 metre line now from the northern end. Good start on 1. Round 2 she goes. Across to 4 ball. Reasonably comfortable as she comes across the 5 in front of the crowd now. And around 6 boy on the 13 metre line. So she'll shorten now to the 12. Okay, so we'll see how we go on this 12 metre line here for Anna Edeback. But if she was to run this and get to 1 boy, then it's starting to look like we were not going to have it is actually starting to look like we might not even have a run off at 1 at 11 now, because we'll just have to wait and see what happens here. We've still got 7 skiers to go after Hannah. So more than 1 1/4 at 11 and she's guaranteed in the final. If she misses this 12 metre pass, then all the girls with 1 at 11 have made it through. That's by my unofficial calculations. Here she goes. She's fighting hard for this 12 metre line. Round 4 she goes. I think she's going to get there, folks. This is a gutsy effort. Round 5. Oh, she might be too late for 6, is she? Slips inside 6, and well, I'm not even going to say she's missed on the final yet, because there's still a chance with 5 at 12 she might make it, because it's been pretty tough to pick out there. But as we watch the replay, Philippa, what do you think? What's going on here on this pass?
Yeah, not a good start. Slack on 1 and 3, and just she's struggling all the way down, isn't she? Really late to 5 and just way too late for 6. Good try though.
This is a good try, but now with that 5 at 12, I'm going to call it unofficially that the 3 skiers with the 1 at 11 have now made their way into the final. I'm not 100% on that, but I'm going to call it anyway. It's unofficial, of course. The official judges will know. But it looks now as though Alice Bagnoli, Selena Dietrich and Gina Kruger are into the final. And the bubble now will be the half on the 11.25 with Sadie Ferguson.
Sadie Ferguson's only got a half.
Yes, and we can confirm that Sadie Ferguson has definitely scored a half at 11. And at the time it was close, I must say. But for quite some time, on my score, on my laptop here, it was saying 1 at 11, so there was a bit of confusion there. I'm not sure.
It's half.
It's definitely half at 11 for Sadie Ferguson, so she is now the bubble now. If all the other skiers get more than half at 11, then Sadie will miss out. If one of these final 7 skiers get less than half at 11, Sadie Ferguson will make her way into the slalom final. That's the way I see it anyway at this stage. So Brooke Baldwin will be up next. Did you hear the length? David, did you hear the length, Brooke? Start length? Line length?
No, I haven't had a thing.
Okay, so
I'm trying to get
we've got Brooke Baldwin up next. I'm picking she's going to start at 14. I actually didn't hear exactly, the radio cut out there for a second. But we'll go with 14 metre to start with here from Brooke Baldwin. I really can't see that she'd start at 13, but I could be wrong. But we will confirm that as soon as we can. So Brooke Baldwin out of the US of A. Yep, 14 metre to confirm. So we've had that from the boat, 14.25 metre line to start. Magnificent young talent, of course, out of the US of A. Solid 3 event skier, but slalom is her number 1 event. Has a personal best on the, we'll pull that up, but I've got a feeling she's one of the very few ladies to have completed the 10.75 metre line actually. A very high personal best, and that's a good opening pass on 14. Resides in Florida, of course. Great slalom style, Brooke Baldwin. We're just watching the replay now. Easy as you like there on the 14.25. So down to the 32 off past the green, shortening 13 metre. Hey, bit of a crowd shot there. The boys seeing themselves on the big screen. Great to see. Okay, so Brooke Baldwin, this is going to be 13 metre line. Obviously here, skiing Team USA, of course, solid 3 event to skier. Round 1 she goes, good start on 1, 13 metre line. Cross to 3, getting it done here at the moment. Early as you like for 5 ball. Across the 6, 13 metre line. Good pass there from Brooke. That little spike in the wind we had, Philippa, has probably died off again now. It's still there a little bit, but its conditions are not too bad right now for these last 7 slalomers in Seed 1.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Glenn. Totally agree with you. Just looking here, it says Brooke was the youngest ever lady to run 41 off. Brooke scored 1 boy at 41 off. Yeah,
that's correct. So, and that's rare. That's still fairly rare. That's the 10.25. So that's still fairly rare to see ladies running into 10.25. And youngest ever skier, I think, Brooke Baldwin to run into 10.25. So she's certainly got the creds. But this is the big moment now. This is the crunch time, isn't it? 12 metre line. This is the pass that has tripped up so many. Pulls out wide on the Nautique towboat. 35 off now. Must run pass at this stage to make the final. Just drops her head a little bit on 1, but she's okay out of 2. Looks to be on time at the moment. Round 3 she goes, heads across the 4. Oh gee, she's going to be okay I think, but she has to take it super easy on 4 ball. Wow. That 4 ball is, you can see it, there's that little shimmer on the water, that bumpiness there, and skiers are a little bit cautious there, and they need to be, and it was almost like one of those Club Med turns almost there from Brooke to make sure she got around 4 and across the 5. But at the end of the day, the job's done. She's run that 12 metre line, which is huge for Brooke and Quest to make it into the final.
She almost lost it on 1.
Yeah, she wasn't great. Dropped the head back. Now here's the big 4 ball. Look at her. Oh. Then she has to scramble a bit. But I think it was, in the end, fairly smart skiing from Brooke, though. She kind of knew what she had to do to make sure she ran that 12-metre line.
Such a great sense of balance to keep on her ski like that after 6 ball.
Absolutely. Good stuff from Brooke Baldwin. Okay, so currently the bubble, I think, from my reckoning, is half on the 11, which is Sadie Ferguson. Remember, folks, course record is 2 at 11. So let's see if Brooke Baldwin can't break the course record here. 11.25 metre line. Through the gate she goes. Round 1. Not a great one, but I think she'll get to 2. She does. Back to the wakes. Yep. 2 boys, solid 2 boys in the 11.25. So she's through to the final. Ties for the lead with Maria Kuglevan from Peru. Equals the course record here at Putrajaya. So job done, I guess, for Brooke. She'll obviously want to slalom a little better in the final, but she's made her way into the final at the very least.
So what do you think the tactics will be for the finals? Will they also start at 14-metre line?
Depends a little bit on the wind. If there's no wind, I don't know. They've had a bit of a look at. They'll know the skiers, particularly the ones that have been training here, but also after the prelim, they'll know which is the hardest end to ski from, and which boys are the toughest ones out there, and that might change their tactics a little bit. But I don't think, if you get conditions like this, I don't think there's a huge difference from what I can see between which end you're coming from. It's just one of those things, really. You just got to get out there and try and get as many boys as you can, I guess. Okay, now we're going to French athlete Amber Frank. Round 1, good start. This, I presume, is 14.25 again.
Nice opening pass. Confirmed 6 boys.
Yeah, just watching that replay, and opening pass from Amber Frank from France, and at 14.25, and that's pretty comfortable stuff. So we'll shorten now to the 13-metre line. Amber Frank from France. And here she goes. Around 1 boy she goes. The current bubble at the moment, I've got it 5 at 12. For this final. In fact, and we've got a 2-way tie, I think, on for the 5 at 12. Just looking at our scores. Hannah Ederbach and Erica Lang both with 5 at 12. Looks to me to be the score to beat at the moment to get into the final. So I've got obviously Brooke Baldwin and Maria Kuglevan through to the final with 2 at 11. And then I've got Alice Bagnoli, Celine Dietrich and Jeana Kruger with 1 at 11. They're through. I've also now got Sadie Ferguson with half at 11 through. And we'll just have to wait and see. Obviously, Amber Frank out on the water now. You wouldn't want to listen to me, though, if you're out there. I'm sure the team captains know what they're doing, but fair to say, I was hoping, because Philippa's way smarter than me, I was hoping you'd have my maths in line, but you haven't been helping too much, Philippa. You're just laughing at me, basically.
Sorry about that.
But I think now that Bubbles moved down to 5 at 12.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's a good call.
Here's Amber Frank now, 12 metre line. Well, if you've got to get more than 5 at 12, you've pretty much got to run it, obviously. So that's her aim at the moment. Round 1, that's a good start, I think. Round 2, heads across to 3. She's doing it at the moment. Heads to the minefield that is 4 ball. But she's got a great 4. Oh, this is good skiing, really good skiing. In fact, round 6, and put her in the final. Amber Frank, of course, through to the final. Runs the 12 metre line. So we get, now that the stressful part's over for Amber, making sure she gets into the final, she can relax a little bit and see how much she can get on the 11.25 metre line. Hey, Danny, give me a bottle of water, mate. Okay, as we're getting towards the closing stages of this slalom prelim elimination round for the ladies. We've got Amber Frank on the water. She's just shortened to 11. We've got Jamie Bull coming up from Canada. 2 Jamies, in fact, because then we've got Jamie Metcalf of New Zealand. Then we've got, of course, Whitney McClintock, Reaney of Canada, Manon Castard of France, and then, of course, the number 1 seed, Regina Kruger of the USA.
Amber coming back in with 11.
11.25 to come. Been quite hard, I think, for these girls. They got a good start, but just this gate here, it's pretty choppy when they make their turn for the gate. Round 1 they go, she goes. Round 2, this is looking good. Can she get to 3? Oh, she does. Great skiing. So 3 at 11, that's the lead and new course record here at Putrajaya. Well done.
And probably the best start we've seen today. That was the best number 1 ball. I mean,
Yeah,
everybody else
it was,
has been...
and like I said, so if you look at the replay, it's just a little lumpier there. It's not easy to get a good start. Yeah. Good stuff from Amber Frank. 3 at 11 takes the lead.
Did she go around 3?
Oh, don't say that. I'm going to say yes. I just we'll wait and see the score come up. My initial thought was she went around 3, but you've got younger and better eyes than me, Philippa, so no, it's official. I think she's been given 3 at 11. As we watch this women's slalom elimination round, Jamie Bull from Canada. Skied so well, of course, at the under 21 Worlds in Canada. Magnificent skier. So we're getting now to the top 5 women's slalom skiers in the world now, which is exciting stuff. The cream is at the top, and we're going to be treated to some magnificent slalom skiing, hopefully, as Jamie Bull from Canada makes her way down the course. Goes. Good pass. You know, so that was interesting, because at that time on 4 ball it looked smooth as, calm as, so it's interesting. Maybe it's just the quality of the skier making it look better, I don't know, but that looked like a really nice pass there for Jamie. She'll shorten now to green to the 13 metre line. Yeah, so at the moment I've got Amber Frank of France, Brooke Baldwin from the USA, Maria Kuglevan from Peru. They're all definitely through. Also Alice Bagnoli, Celine Dietrich, Gina Kruger are through to the final. I've got Sadie Ferguson through as well. And we're now down to our top 5 skiers in the world. Jamie Bull from Canada is out there at the moment. Big moment coming up after Jamie Bull, because we've got Jodie Metcalf from New Zealand. I'm sure all of New Zealand will be tuning in, because it's not that often the Kiwis get a skier this late off in the seedings at a World Champs. So looking forward to that. Here we go, Jamie Bull now. 13 metre line. Green shortening. Oh, jeez, she's okay, but almost in the water there on 3 ball. Round 5 she goes. She's actually going to run this past comfortably in the end, but I think we'll see on the replay. I'll let you talk us through it, Philippa, but that looked a little dodgy there on 3 ball.
Yeah, a bit of touch and go there, but she recovered quite well. Here we see the replay. She started off really strong. And
here we go.
Just on the 3, almost skipped out, but just nice control there.
You know, you could hear a huge sigh from all of Canada there, couldn't you, as she came around 3 ball. I could hear it all the way from here in Malaysia. That's a pretty cool shot if you're a New Zealand Waterski fan, because we've got Jamie Metcalf on the dock, but we've got, I think, Tony Atkinson there as well supporting her. And the big dance, of course, the World Championships here at Putrajaya. Elimination round of the women's slalom. Trying to get into the final. It's been tough. I think some really good athletes miss out here, and it's sad, but at the end of the day, it's a pressure cooker situation, isn't it, of a World Champs. Here's Jamie Bull, 12 metre line. Needs more than 5. 5 1/4 will get her through. Looking good here as she makes her way into 3 ball. Here's across the 4. Round 4 she goes. She's looking good here, actually. Across the 5. Got 5. She'll get to 6. Round 6. Out the gates, and she's into the final of the Women's Slalom 2019 World Champs.
She'll be happy with that. Slalom specialist like her.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the name of the game is to get into the final, and she's done that. So short now down to the 11.25 metre line for Jamie Bull. Too long. 60-second drop time up there, of course, just to let the water settle a little bit. 11.25 metre line coming up. Jamie Bull from Canada. Just the youngster, of course. 19, 20 years of age. Big future in the sport. Current lead, of course, is with France, and it's 3 boys from Amber Frank. Let's see how she goes round 1. Not a bad start on 1, actually.
Yeah.
Into 2 she goes. Oh, great stuff on 2 ball. Here we go. 3 from Jamie Bull. Does she get to 4? I think she does. Round 4. Gosh, she's going to run it, is she? Cross to 5. 11.25. She's going to be late for 6, but she works hard. Oh, sensational stuff. Put your hands together. Jamie Bull has run the 11.25 metre line. Oh, where's the fist pump? I thought we might have seen a huge fist pump there, but that is magnificent skiing.
That was amazing. Well done, Jamie. And she's had a fair few practice sets here, so just shows more practice, I think.
That is magnificent. So we definitely know that was 11, because I'm starting to doubt myself now. That is sensational skiing. cream has risen to the top here. Jamie Bull just powered herself through that pass. Yeah, 10.75 metre line coming now. It's amazing, isn't it? We thought, you know, oh, geez, the slalom's not going very well. It's, you know, everybody's getting, but then suddenly Jamie Bull comes out, runs 11 like nobody's business. So this is great skiing. She's probably going to get one, or yeah, well, judges call. I'm going to say one, but we'll see what the judges say. It could be two. Put your hands together. That is magnificent skiing from Jamie Bull. On a day when everybody was struggling to get control out there, Jamie Bull has just smashed it with a 1 at 10.75. And this is only the elimination round, but she has sent a big message to the ladies on the dock, the top seeds, the likes of Regina Jacquez and Whitney McClintock. But I tell you what, I think this is going to be positive. I think this will make the girls on the dock think that, hell, we can get out here, we can get amongst it, we can slay on big scores, because that's great stuff. Yeah, one. I think she went inside two there. One on the 10.75 for Jamie Bull.
What a phenomenal athlete, really. She's just amazing. So we got 3 more skiers, do we? 4 more skiers. Jamie Metcalf from New Zealand, Whitney McClintock from Canada, and Manon Costard from France, and finally Regina Jacquez from USA, who just set a new world record, which was just ratified. Yeah. So some exciting stuff coming up.
So, and we've probably forgotten to mention, we've got a new course record here at Putrajaya now, 1 at 10.75 at Jamie Bull. So that's increased the course record by 5 boys from where it was from 10 years ago from the World Cup stop back. I don't know if April Coble Ella's watching the webcast. It's fairly early in the morning in South Carolina, so whether she's watching or not, I'm not sure, but that's a magnificent result. Make sure you give a warm round of applause for Jamie Bull as she comes back in front of the grandstand, because that is an absolute ripper of a sensational result. She waves to the crowd. 1 at 10.75 metre on a day when many of our top athletes were struggling to run 12 metre. She has sent a huge message. Our big moment now for New Zealand water skiing. Jamie Metcalf up next. One of our great skiers from late 90s, early 2000s. Retired from the sport for 10, 12 years, worked on a career. She works in Switzerland as a marketing manager, I think it is, in the medical industry. But she has got back into skiing in the last 3 or 4 years, skiing a lot in Europe and northern Italy and France, and down there, of course, in Spain. And she's increased the New Zealand slalom record, which she held by a full course. I think when she retired in 2008, the New Zealand slalom record was 4 at 11, and now it's 4 at 10.75.
Wow.
Jamie Metcalf. So big moment here, because it's been a while. Been a while since New Zealand's had a skier in a finals at a Worlds. I think Aaron Larkin, who of course won silver in 2011 in men's slalom. Dubna in Russia. I'm trying to think if we've had another finalist since then. It's possible, but can't really think of one right now. Here's Jamie Metcalf, presuming 14 metre to start.
Yep, that's a 14.
I was talking so much I didn't listen, but here she goes, round 2. Lovely, big, great slalom style, big, nice and tall slalom skier. Heads across around 5 and 6. So great stuff from Jamie Metcalf. So shout out to all my fellow Kiwis around the world that will be watching this, particularly in New Zealand. At the moment, it's coming up to, what is it, 3:15 in the afternoon in New Zealand. So people will be watching this, of course, in New Zealand. Slightly nervous, I gotta say. I don't get nervous that often, but
Really?
a little bit.
Yeah.
I want this pretty bad. I want a Kiwi in the final, so we look forward to this. But that was a nice opening pass for Jamie Metcalf there on the 14.25.
Whatever happened to the great Aaron Larkin?
Oh, he's actually, well, last year, in fact, he broke, he was the number 1 over 35 slalom skier in the world last year, Aaron Larkin. He spent a bit of time in Melbourne. He tried having a real job. Shout out to Aaron if you're listening. In Melbourne, didn't really work out for him, so he's gone back to Florida, and he's And of course, he's living in Florida now, and I'm sure he's getting a bit of skiing in again. And of course, married to Anais Ahmad, who's actually a former skier here. In fact, I think she might have, thinking about it now, might have been one of the co-holders of that. She was 2 at 11, one of the co-holders of that slalom. We've been talking up April Coble, but sorry, Annie, I forgot about you. So Aaron Larkin's still skiing pretty good in the senior at 55 kilometres per hour range. Here we go, Jamie Metcalf, 13 metre line. Round 2 she goes. This is looking pretty solid at the moment, isn't it? Round 4, Jamie Metcalf, 13 metre line. Cross to 6, and that's good skiing. So the Kiwis this last week have done a bit of skiing. You've done a bit of boat driving for them, I guess. I think Jamie got in Tuesday of last week, or maybe Monday, actually Monday of last week.
Yep.
Had a full week's training here on site, which is great to see.
Yeah, I didn't get the
You didn't
privilege
get the privilege of driving for them?
driving her personally, but yeah, I saw her off the dock. She looked pretty amazing.
Yeah, which has been a good move. We don't always get the Kiwis are a bit slow sometimes on the uptake and miss out. It's the on-site training nowadays is booked well in advance, of course, for World Champs. And we've probably the last 2 or 3 World Champs have been a little bit underdone and missed out. But this year, good to see some good time. And I think the Kiwis, all apart from Alex King, who unfortunately skis didn't arrive until yesterday or the day before or whenever it was, have some good time on the lake here. So this is a big moment for Jamie Metcalf. More than 5 to get into the final. 12 metre line. Let's see, let's will her on. She's got 5 million Kiwis on the back of her ski right now, and hopefully we don't affect her too much. Through the gate she goes, round 1. Put a slack on 1. Round 2, she's doing it at the moment though, across the 3. This next boy's the one we're all nervous about, of course, the 4th boy, but she's got it there. The good stuff from Jamie Metcalf. Round 5, and she's going to run the 12 metre line. She does. Oh, sensational stuff. Jamie Metcalf through to the final. We've got a Kiwi into the final, Philippa, and
Man, she makes it look so effortless. Like she's so light.
oh, I'm so happy right now, Philippa. This is sensational. Great stuff. The Kiwis through to the final. Yep, we're doing the dance up here in the commentary box. Wow. Look at it go. She does. She looks amazing, doesn't she? Out there on the slalom ski. That's such a tough boy, that 4 boy from that start dock end. But she just mastered it. And out the exit gate she goes with a score of 6 at the moment on the 12. And she'll shorten now onto the 11.25.
Didn't get my makeup on. Hello, Paul Fong from IWWF and Courtney.
It's Courtney, I haven't met her yet, but she's the social media guru. So there you go. Thanks very much.
Nice to meet you in person.
Well done. Great to see IWWF appointing a social media person, which is great. Doing a good job. Okay, Jamie Metcalf on the 11 metre line. This is all bonus now. This is just for seeding for the final, just to get her eye in for the final. Here she comes. Pulls out wide. Through the gate she goes. Round 1. Heads across to 2. A little bit late for 2, but she's going okay here. She's going to be struggling for 3. Ooh, I don't know. I don't think she went around 3, but still, it's a great score. 2 on the 11. Well,
Yep.
That's a great moment for Jamie and New Zealand water skiing. We're going to have someone in the final at a World Champs, which is great. We still, of course, have Alex King to jump tomorrow, so it wasn't our last chance, but Jamie, of course, done very, very well to get through to the final. Actually, we still have Morgan Deal in play, although it's an outside chance. He's still leading the men's slalom, of course, but still 3 seeds of men's slalom to go. Look at that, eh? Jamie Metcalf, the Kiwi. 2 boys at 11 into the slalom final. Well, next competitor will be Whitney McClintock-Reaney out of Canada. 13 metre to start. I'm pretty sure I heard that. Now that is, I better confirm it because it's a sort of thing that could get me in trouble, but I thought I heard 13 metre from the boat. It does actually look pretty short to me, so this is probably what she normally starts at all the time, but I thought maybe she might drop it back a little bit. But she's confident, which is good, and she's out there on the 13 metre line, 32 off. She's just a class act, isn't she? Remember back to the last World Champs in Paris, we had a runoff, of course, for the gold medal between Whitney and Jeana, and exciting result. I think they had to have a double runoff in the end. It was struggling to separate them. So I mean, Whitney McClintock, if she was in any other era, would have been a multiple world champion, I'm sure, in slalom. She just happens to be slaloming in the same era as the world record holder, the greatest female slalomer ever, Jeana Kruger, which was coming up. You know, she's just sort of the way it works out in life sometimes.
Yep.
She's a solid 3-event skier, of course, Whitney McClintock. Very famous Canadian water skiing family. McClintocks have got a ski site up there in Toronto, I think it is, in Canada. Okay, so we're not really going to stop, folks, between slalom and tricks, just let you know. We're going to roll straight into tricks. So if you're involved with tricking, judging, that sort of thing, you want to get into position.
Or commentating?
Yeah, all commentating. Yeah, 12 metre line now for Whitney McClintock from the northern end. That wind has actually settled down here the last sort of 15-20 minutes, which is great to see. Here we go, 12 metre line. Still a must-run pass to make it through to the final. She's not having any problems at the moment, though. She is such a good slalom skier. You look at it, just put her out there and just going around those boys and across the 6, and there's the moment there that she gets into the final. Just gets a ski outside 6 ball to get through to the final. She shortens now onto the 11.25 metre line. Great pass. Yep, lovely 12 metre pass. And now down to the 11.25. Let's see, because fellow Canadian Jamie Bull has successfully made it through the 11 metre line.
Starting to rain down by the start dock.
Starting to rain, look at that, eh? Because we don't know these things being in our plush air-conditioned tower here, but you can see the rain's actually fairly heavy by the look of it down near the towboat. And what do you do here? Because you can't really go, that looks too heavy to bring the skier on the screen anyway, I'm not sure.
It's weird because down here by the red start gates, there's no rain. It's just by the start dock.
Yeah. It's only raining at the start dock at the moment, though. Is that what we're saying?
Oh.
No, I don't think they're going to take it. They're pulling the rope in. Okay, so this will mean that Whitney will go and sit on the start dock or get in the shelter, I guess. The boat will have to keep running up and down the lake to keep conditions the same for the skiers. If we have a 10-minute break, Whitney will be allowed a warm-up pass. I mean, the good news for Whitney is she's in the final. She's done that part. So sort of the stress is over. But she wants to, I'm sure she wants to have a crack at running 11. So we'll just have to see how long this rain hangs around. And yeah, I think we'll run a few ads and we'll give your ears a bit of a break. That's been a little bit stressful, that call.